Welcome. We're going to talk about the Marvel movies. They have been coming out for 11 years, since 2008, starting with Iron Man. There's 4 phases, phase 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're just going to go ahead and start talking about the phases and the movies in them. So we're going to start with phase 1. Like I said, the first movie is Iron Man that came out in 2008. Who wants to start it off?
23 movies?
21.
21?
Yep. Wikipedia
Endgame
says
is 22nd. I
I'll pull it up.
Yeah,
we need
I'll
some.
pull it up.
You know what? You might be right. There might be 23 because Captain Marvel and Endgame.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I think you're right
autocorrected
there.
to Mario movies, and that is not
Oh.
what we're looking for.
How many?
I mean, it's
Right.
close.
One.
It should be
Technically.
0.
Technically, I
Big
think
ol'-
there's
it's a big
2
ol'
Mario
big
movies,
rock.
and one Nintendo's trying to bury.
Yeah.
They're trying to bury it so you don't
So
see
21
it one day.
total films. It says release dates 2008 to present, but the release dates here don't include. It includes Captain Marvel here. It doesn't include Spider-Man or Endgame. So I think 23 is correct, at
Yeah.
least for 2019.
We are following Wikipedia, so.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
all
The most
subjective.
reliable source for
All hail
information.
Wikipedia.
It's all
It's
subjective.
not like you can just change it or anything.
I think there's enough fans that would instantly correct it. You know, there's at
Yeah.
least 100 people that are sitting here refreshing to fix anything that's wrong because it
They have
must be
notifications
perfection.
set up,
Yes.
so if anything's changed, they get a notification.
Oh, they'll know
in their
about it.
email. So yeah, the first one's Iron Man. I really enjoyed that movie.
Distributed by Paramount.
I think, yeah, the first phase is
Yeah, look at
distributed
that.
by Paramount.
Up until 2011, the Avengers is whenever it changed
Yeah.
to Walt Disney.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney
Well-
actually took
Well,
over
wait
with
a
the
minute. When
Avengers.
you look, actually, in 2012, if you look at all the Blu-rays, Paramount distributed that.
Oh,
The Avengers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't really until Iron Man 3
Yeah.
was the first
Yeah.
time I ever noticed a difference, to me, anyway.
And
That's
that was in
interesting.
2013.
Iron Man 3 was the first complete
I'm wondering if they
Disney
actually
Mouse
even
and Mouse, I
had,
think,
like,
right?
plans past the Avengers, or if that was just kind of where they stopped for then. Because that was whenever it was still Joss Whedon.
You'd think they had
doing
some
Joss
stuff
Whedon.
drafted.
It was just
but
Joss
maybe not
Whedon and
too
Kevin
much in
Feige.
writing.
Yeah,
Right.
and then Kevin
Well,
took over from
yeah.
there, I guess.
Oh,
Kevin
I
Feige,
can show
Joss
you where.
Whedon, and John Favreau were
I'm
really
glad
the
you
brain
brought that
trust.
John Favreau
All right.
did Iron Man, at least.
So, that's phase 3.
I think he just got burnt out on Iron Man 2,
So Feige
Maybe.
started with Iron Man 2.
but we'll get to
That
that.
was the first one he was the producer on.
Okay.
Before that, Kevin Feige was on Iron Man.
He wasn't
and
the
the
lead,
Incredible
though.
Hulk, but he was not
Avi
the
Arad.
sole
I remember
producer.
that name, Avi Arad.
Well,
I remember seeing his name.
It makes
everywhere.
sense. Iron Man 2 is whenever the actual cinematic universe began.
Yeah.
Because it's like we were talking about before. The end credit scene in Iron Man does show Nick Fury,
Yeah.
played by Samuel L. Jackson, but John Favreau has come out saying it was just a throwaway Easter egg. And the only reason that it was played by Samuel L. Jackson is because I believe in the Ultimate Avengers, which was the new comic series at the time, had a black Nick Fury.
Oh, okay.
So that's
That
why
makes
the
sense.
Easter egg was like that, but they had no plans.
Do you remember
to
people
go
were mad
forward.
about that? There was a whole uproar about him being black. I don't. I mean, it makes sense that he would be because of the comics, and I think at the time they were maybe trying to tie into that a little bit, that whole universe, which makes sense. Why would you not want to have some similarities between the cinematic universe as well as the comic one? But they've also went on record recently as saying, and this is skipping ahead a little bit, but Adam Warlock is supposed to be pretty much the one who defeats Thanos. Okay.
Yeah, they've been
He's not even in it. He's not in any of the movies.
they've
He's
been
not
teasing him.
Sort of, but they've confirmed that he's not even in Phase 4,
Okay.
which is actually kind of a disappointment
Yeah.
because he's pretty awesome.
Maybe they're waiting for Guardians 3.
They
Because he did
s-
get teased in Guardians 3, but then Guardians 3 has kind of been in this gray area up until like last week.
He was supposed to be in it,
Yeah, then
but
they
they
rehired
confirmed that
James
he's
Gunn.
not going to be in it because there's too many characters.
Yeah.
Which is a legitimate reason
Yeah.
if he's not in it. I get it.
You know
there
what?
are a lot.
Too many characters isn't a legitimate reason after Infinity War.
No, that
I mean,
was the
that's a good
first
point.
time that was ever
Yeah.
done. There were so many characters on the screen at the same time, and it was
Yeah.
It's
nuts.
kind of like they
But
tested the
Guardians is-
waters with Civil War.
Well,
Yeah.
To
technically,
see if
they
people
weren't
could kind of
all
follow
on the
along if we
screen
put
at
this
the
many
same
people
time.
together.
Maybe.
And then the fans were like, anything.
Well,
Although Guardians
Justin-
is a little bit more of a contained story than
Yeah, than Avengers.
the Infinity
Yeah.
saga as well as the Avengers. So it does make sense that maybe they would want to just focus on the Guardians, and if you throw someone in there at the last minute, like it would really shake up the whole chemistry and everything, and it could throw it off for the worse. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he's going to be in it. I think they're telling the truth with that, but there are rumors that he might be in it after Phase 4. Or start to be introduced at the end of Phase 4, where more and more hints are dropped about him being part of the universe and maybe just not showing up on screen, or there could be, my guess would be end credit scenes that are related to his whereabouts or what's going on with him. But yeah, Phase 1 was pretty good.
No complaints about that one, really.
Yeah, let's just run it down. 2008, Iron Man, 2008.
It has the most hiccups, though. Out of all the phases,
I can see that.
It doesn't have the best rewatchability.
No, after so many years, though. I mean, I cannot sit through. God, what was it? I just watched it actually, not fully, but watched it. Yeah,
Thor's
I
a rough
cannot
one to
sit
go back
through.
to. I'm
The
sorry.
first
It
Thor's
is.
rough, man.
It's worth it for some of the end jokes.
Actually, it's not a bad movie. It's just like I've seen it so much.
Yeah.
I can't watch it again.
Yeah, the
like
fish out of water stuff with him is alright.
I can watch the first Iron Man. Like, what
All the
doesn't
time.
bother me? I can watch that movie, but it even like I don't know, probably the Incredible Hulk. I mean,
Are we counting that? I mean, I
Yeah,
know.
I guess we
because
have
they
to
count it.
now. They can't.
No, I mean, like, I know they count it, but
In the greater scheme of things,
Are we really?
It's probably the smallest movie, really.
nothing
They don't tie
comes-
anything in. Really.
Yeah, nothing comes back related
Other than
to
when
it.
Mark Ruffalo says in the first Avengers, he goes, "I kind of broke Harlem." That's it. That's it. That's the only reference they ever say on anything.
the
And honestly, I didn't need a movie for it. Like, I know, like,
I could
this
just
whole
take the
Avengers.
reference as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
actually
the
not
same
a
thing
bad
with
movie.
Spider-Man.
It's
There's
just
already been
not.
so many origin
average
stories.
Compared to everything else, though, it's
It's
what
no
it does.
Avengers.
The first Avengers, it is a landmark movie. It will probably be looked at as one of the most important movies ever, period. That movie takes forever to get going.
Yeah.
The first Avengers.
Yeah.
Forever. I just watched it recently because I just got it on 4K. By the way, it's amazing. Watch it. But it's like, man, it's like I was at like 37 minutes, 38 minutes, about 40-minute mark. I'm like, where the hell is Iron Man?
It did start the 3-act process that they use for all Marvel movies now, though, where it's like the Act 1 and then the Act 2 and then the Act 3 is the final battle and all that with the climax and everything, which it was proof of concept, I guess, but it does take so long to get going because if you would release Infinity War back then, where it's just constantly from the get-go, it doesn't stop. It can't stop because there's so much to go through.
Yeah.
If you would release that back then, people would probably hate it.
Yeah.
And even in
I don't know, but maybe just watching it because I've seen it so many
It's pretty
times,
constant.
probably that also deters it because I've seen the first Avengers probably, God, I don't know, 12, 13 times probably, if not more. But I prefer Ultron. But we'll get to that. Actually, don't touch
Well,
on that. Let's just finish off Phase 1.
I would say, for me, for Phase 1, super unpopular opinion time. And Jake already knows what this is.
Don't you dare.
The Avengers is the last movie where I like Cap.
Yeah, he's very unlikable
he
in
was
that
very
movie.
unlikable in
in that movie.
Yeah.
Like,
Because they put him against Tony Stark, and that's just not...
everything after that point, I don't think we have anywhere near the same character that Cap was in, the first Avenger of, his movie.
Which...
Captain America, the first Avenger, his movie, I love him.
Oh,
He's
that
such
movie,
a wonderful
other
character.
than the first Iron Man's fantastic.
Yes.
That
Yes.
first Captain America movie's fantastic.
I could rewatch
feel
it all the time.
They
Yeah.
lost the essence of Cap so quickly in every movie
Yeah.
after that. He just seems so selfish and not likable and just
Yeah.
not Captain America.
Especially
from that
in
point on.
That whole
Yeah.
Big
until
problem
like
with
the
that
last
Yep.
15 minutes of that movie where he's the leader of the Avengers. He's telling everybody what to do. That's when I'm like, okay, there's Captain America.
Yep.
That's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
But mostly they treat him, that movie is what Loki said, you're a man out of time. And he's still, that's really his first experience because what was it? They're doing it in real time, right? This is like year to year to year to year.
I believe so.
That's
Yeah.
what I've always led to believe that it
Right.
was.
I think they
So
said
he's
Infinity
really
War
been
was
out of
10 years after.
He's been
the
out of
start.
ice like what? like
10 years as of right now.
Well, I meant like as from First Avenger to the Avengers, the first Avengers. He's been out of ice for 1 year, really.
Right.
So he's still trying to get back to the world, but that gives him no excuse to really just
that gives him
be an asswipe to everybody.
Yeah,
I
that
guess.
doesn't work at all for any of his later movies or any other of his later appearances because
he got lit up by Tony Stark.
Granted, I've never been frozen in ice for years and thawed and come
years.
back and had to readjust to society,
You
but
should have left it in the water.
at this point, I think he should be more adjusted. That he doesn't seem like, oh, my life is miserable and why is this happening to me? And
They
yeah,
didn't actually handle him well in that movie.
Winter Soldier.
No, the first Avengers movie. He's not handled in that movie at all.
Like, what do you mean? Like them taking care of him
They put him against Loki.
in the
That whole
Avengers?
fight, he
Yeah.
just gets thrown around.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And they make him look so powerful in the first Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes right up against Loki. He's completely outmatched.
I do
I was
remember
gonna
that
say
was a complaint,
I was
which
like-
they didn't. They then I guess.
But then Iron Man
rectified it
throws
in
him, just
Winter
blows him
Soldier.
to the ground. And I'm like, I guess Iron Man would be more of a match to Loki than a Captain America would, you'd think.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
Although
highlight-
Bucky's not mystical like Loki is, so that could be
No.
part of it too.
A highlight is
Yeah.
when Thor shows up in the Avengers. That's a highlight because he lands on top of the ship and they fight in the forest. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
cool. I like that whole sequence.
The first time them coming together is great.
Cap
Just
shield. I love that scene though when he goes,
charisma
"You want
and
me to
everything.
put the hammer down?" and just blows the whole forest up.
Yes.
And
My favorite quote from Captain America is just like whenever Black Widow, he's getting ready to jump out and go
Yeah.
after Tony
Yeah.
and Thor, because Thor just took Loki, where he puts on the parachute to go jump out after them, and Black Widow's just like, you might want to sit this one out, Captain. These guys are basically gods. And then Cap is just like, there's only one god, ma'am, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that, and jumps out
Yeah.
the back of the plane. And it's just
That was
like,
a
I
great
loved it.
line.
Yep.
because that's something he would say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
But I think the problem is he's become too adjusted. And in Winter Soldier, his world breaks down.
Yeah.
That's the point. All he knows is Hydra. In the first Avenger, the end credit scene is a trailer setting up pretty much the Avengers. But it's also Nick Fury coming to him after he's just been training constantly. And he's like, do you want to get me out in the real world? And Nick Fury's just like, not exactly, but I do have a mission for you. So it's like he hasn't done anything. He
Yeah.
hasn't been anywhere. He's just kind of been waiting. He is legit a soldier just sitting on the sidelines until they decide to put him out there.
Yeah.
So all he knows is S.H.I.E.L.D. All he knows is like, I'm a good guy. These are the bad guys.
Yeah.
In Winter
It's very
Soldier,
black and white for him.
in Winter Soldier, it all turns to gray.
Yeah.
Because
So is that it,
S.H.I.E.L.D.
like-
isn't the good guys anymore.
Is that it for Phase 1? Anybody else have anything for Phase 1? Other than the first Iron Man villain was pretty freaking good.
I have
Yes.
an unpopular opinion. I liked Iron Man 2.
I
enjoyed the movie overall.
I'm gonna add just to add on his point.
Sure.
There's a lot about that movie that isn't good,
Yes.
but there's also a lot that is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything involving Tony Stark and his sickness and everything and his legacy issues and with his dad and everything, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved
Yes.
every single bit of that. Having said that, I think they could have picked an infinitely other number of villains for that movie. I did not like Mickey Rourke whatsoever. I know there's some people that do. Maybe
Right.
I don't know. Maybe if you do or not. But I cannot stand him in that film, or the other guy,
I like the other guy. Played
Justin
by
Hammer.
Yes.
You like? Yeah,
I really like him.
he's like as
great.
a comic relief. I
Yeah.
guess like he's great. He's
But his
good for
actor
that.
is pretty great too. I think it's Sam
Yeah.
something.
That helps.
That and I
Yeah.
actually like Don Cheadle's War Machine,
Yes.
which at the time there's some people that actually don't like him. Like they prefer Terrence Howard.
I think he's better than Terrence Howard now.
Until you hear how Terrence Howard went out in Marvel,
I didn't hear.
he kind of just, I don't know.
Did he just, like,
look
ghost?
it up actually because
Did he just leave?
I can't give you an accurate
Okay.
description, but it's actually kind of.
Well, I
it's
thought
kind
Don
of,
Cheadle did fine.
It's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous, but yeah, Don Cheadle did a great job, I think.
And their chemistry was good.
That
Good
movie
too.
is better
That
than
was
what I
nice.
think people
Yeah.
remember it being. Really,
Yeah.
I think that movie is pretty good. Maybe not as important in the wide scope of things,
Right.
really, but it's actually,
I would say it's not a really strong Iron Man movie. It's a good Shield movie
yeah.
Okay.
because it is the
birthplace of Black Widow.
It is
Yeah.
the creation of everything. It's when Nick Fury comes on and he's like, I'm the leader of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's whenever S.H.I.E.L.D. actually, like, gets its, like, collection of parts and all
Phil
that.
Coulson, man.
Yeah, it's
Phase
just
one.
everything
Phil
starts
Coulson.
there.
That's he connects everything in Phase 1. I love that. But anyway, yeah, Loki, good, strong first, big bad.
Well, and the aliens. You can't forget
Yeah,
about
the
that.
Chitauri.
Because it's not just them. And that does play a lot into...
I love that
later
whole
on.
battle, though.
They-
Like, once you get me to that battle where Iron Man gets tossed out the window by Loki and he comes up, oh, by the way, his name's Phil, shoots him, and then fights off the aliens coming out of the, the sky or whatever. That is fantastic. And plus, I don't think we can move on to Phase 2 without touching on the money shot, really. You know what I'm talking about? Whenever they pan around.
Yep.
Yeah.
That, to me, they won't top that.
No.
They still haven't, in my
No.
opinion. They have not topped that
It
shot.
was the proof of concept. Like, it was the culmination of everything.
That just makes me smile when I watch
Yeah.
that scene. It literally, because you see all these heroes in one thing. And you see the Hulk and you see Captain America tell him to go smash stuff. I'm like, I love that. And
Yeah.
Hulk stole that first movie.
Yeah.
He did. He stole the first Avengers movie.
Because he's always angry.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was awesome.
I love when he punches the thing. Oh. I
Like
love
the space whale thing?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just wrecks it completely, just kills it on impact. Like,
That's
Yeah.
what we're missing. We need more space whales.
Yeah. So anything else? That's it?
I
Phase
will
one?
say Loki was probably the best option for Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would
Someone
most
people knew.
logical.
yeah, it would have flopped if it was anyone else.
Yeah.
Is that it? Phase 1?
Yeah,
Done?
phase one's good.
All right. Phase
Phase 2's Iron Man 3, Thor the Dark World, Captain America, The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers, Age of Ultron, and the last one is Ant-Man.
Iron Man 3.
I'm gonna get Rachel.
I was gonna say, a lot of people I have talked to don't care for it. And I
feel
like
like
to always
I'm in the
point out
minority on
it's
this
a
one.
fantastic Tony Stark movie. It is not a great Iron Man movie, but it is a wonderful Tony Stark movie to the point that's the entire reason we named our first dog Stark. We would have went with Tony, but I have a brother named that, and something about you can't have a brother and a dog with the same name. I don't
It's a little
know.
odd if your
Tony
brother's over.
Stark.
Right. So
Have they ever stood side by side and go, "Hey Tony, hey Stark," and it's like,
Surprisingly, Stark loves Tony.
There you go.
loves
and there's
him.
no.
Don't know why.
Loves him. Hates Jake.
Oh, he hates me.
He does too.
Here's-
But
yeah.
that's just it. Is like I liked Phase 1 and I mostly went because Jake wanted to see them. Like I didn't argue about it, but I was like, all right, let's go see it.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
I became a fan at Iron Man 3. Like
Yeah.
that was my
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I think everybody has that one where whether it even be Iron Man 1, where you become a
Honestly,
fan.
mine was Captain America: The First Avenger, is
Yep.
where I really became a fan.
Exactly.
Was that movie? Then Avengers just blew me completely away because I was still on the Batman phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but to be honest with you, though,
The Dark
whenever
Knight
you
was always the best superhero movie.
it is,
It was,
and it's
yeah.
like whenever, to her point, when she didn't really want to because you went because Jake wanted
Yeah,
to go.
like-
those heroes, though, in Phase 1, they weren't really the top of Marvel then.
No.
It was Spider-Man and the
Yeah.
X-Men. They were the kings of Marvel. Then, now it's different. Spider-Man is literally... He's not even in the second spot now. He's in, 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever now.
You never would have seen a comic book with Iron Man on it until
No,
this started.
Iron Man was a second-tier hero. Could you ever believe that in
Yeah.
Marvel? He's now the king. He is the
Yeah.
top. He's the...
In every single arc, he is the leader of the new Avengers, comic book series now. He starts the Avengers.
He's still the most popular hero from Marvel, I think, right now. Right?
I would say so.
But...
Really?
After, in comics, I would say, just because of his character.
Okay.
Being
Yeah.
able to be so...
And Spider-Man's making a
Resilient.
comeback now, to
Yeah,
be fair.
Spider-Man
Like,
is making
he's...
a comeback.
The
Yes.
other thing, people were tired of Spider-Man, to be honest. He got rebooted twice.
They're refreshing him with, Into
Yeah,
the
they were-
Spider-Verse and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
which that
Into
was good.
Spider-Verse
That was a
helps a
great
lot.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great... But honestly, though, could you tell the difference in the 4K? I really couldn't, to be honest with
Not
you.
really.
For the first, 10
It
minutes.
looked great no matter what.
Yeah,
you
it looked
watched.
great. It's just, I was like, I could have bought the Blu-ray and
As
probably
long as
got
you're not
the
watching
same
on
out
a
of this.
potato, I think you're fine.
Yeah. But,
Certain art styles don't
to
need to
Rachel's
translate
point...
between the
And
Yeah, it
this
looks
is where I
great.
think I'm in the minority on Iron Man 3. I loved Iron Man 3.
It is really good.
Loved Iron Man 3. Could watch Iron Man 3 right now and
Yep.
not have a bad night. I get what everybody says
Yes.
about the Tony Stark, it being a Tony Stark movie, with Iron Man making subtle cameos throughout the entire movie.
Iron Man just happens
him
to show up.
jumping suit to suit to suit to suit, which I actually kind of thought, okay, it's different. I liked it. But here's the thing, though, I got over the Mandarin swerve. That's the thing. I did not hate that because
Okay.
I think Guy Pearce is an unbelievable villain. He's unreal. Like, he's cruel. He doesn't give a shit. Like, he does not
he
care.
is straight
He
evil.
is straight
Yeah.
evil. There's no good side to him at all, really.
Yeah,
Right.
not
You know,
anymore.
like,
and he even was like
he to the
created
point where he
by
infected
Iron Man
Pepper
2.
with
Yeah.
the virus.
Yeah.
Which everyone thought when she fell, I was like, oh man, you thought like for a minute she was dead. And then you see Tony's like, I'm going to kill you. And then that epic fight begins. And then you think, okay, he's dead. Then Pepper shows up with the pipe and then smacks him and throws the missile at him. I'm like, I love it. I love that whole movie. Like,
Yep.
I love Iron Man 3. Like, I can't, like, I know Nathan doesn't like it, but I
only have a couple reasons for not liking
Yeah.
it as much. I wish the Mandarin was real.
yeah.
I wish they did the real Mandarin instead of doing like.
Well, that's why me and Jake
pulling the
talk
rug
about
out
every
from
time we
under.
talk about we want to see the one more Iron Man movie with the real Mandarin as
Yeah.
the villain.
It would make sense if they did that.
Almost
'Cause-
like an old Logan.
yeah,
Yeah,
type of
because
thing.
Tony
It's
would
just
even
like-
think like, "Oh, is this just a joke?"
Yeah.
Like I already beat the Mandarin, he wasn't even real.
Yeah.
and then have the real Mandarin show up and be like, "Oh, this is not good."
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that would be a great way.
Ben
to end
Kingsley
that.
was great in those
He was.
trailers,
Oh,
though,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
had
he
you
was real
fooled the
convincing.
entire time in those trailers. Nobody saw that coming.
Yeah, but it makes sense why they did it because he isn't like the true bad guy in that movie.
Yeah.
Skype here. So yeah, it was. I mean, it's a good movie.
So Thor: The Dark World.
Well, for
Oh,
Iron,
the
Man 3, it also breaks down the walls of standard comic book character, because like we had Captain America, which is lawful good. We had Iron Man, who was just like mischievous good. We had Thor, who was good. They were just all these
Chaotic good.
Good. Yes.
That's
D&D
probably about
terms.
about as close as it gets. And then in Iron Man 3, like Tony Stark is dealing with his demons. Like he did it a little bit in Iron Man 2, but in Iron Man 3, he's terrified. Like he has PTSD on the war in New York, and he still does up until Infinity War, whenever like
Yep.
At the very end, he still does.
whenever I think it was Doctor Strange says it's like Thanos was behind the attack
Yep.
on New York, and immediately Iron Man hones in. He's just like, he needs to die then.
Yeah.
Like, this is something that affected him to his core. And we saw in this, like, new cinematic universe, a character had a flaw created in a previous movie and is dealing with it now.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like, it's not just a comic book movie anymore. Like, it's a legit, like,
It's like a real movie.
it's an epic of, like,
Yeah.
character progression. This is
Yeah.
the first progress we see.
Right. Just, I absolutely agree with that. It just shows continuing through the movies, because I feel like some of these other Avengers that were at that same war, they don't really bring it up again. Like, it's like, that happened, let's move on. And I'm like, no one is like fine and dandy after that, no matter who
That's
you
a
are.
normal day for Thor. Right. Because
Yeah.
he just destroyed the ice giant,
Yeah.
like, planet
Yeah,
and everything.
Captain America, he was in a war.
Yeah.
I mean, he probably felt some sort of like, wow, this
But
isn't
we
normal.
didn't
But-
see it.
Yeah, you're
Like-
right.
They didn't show.
He
it.
had seen war before. It didn't affect him as badly. Hulk is just angry,
Wasn't
so he was killing
supernatural
things.
aliens either, though.
True. Well, he did deal with
Because,
all of the
because
like.
Tony Stark has
stuff.
seen war. He was funding the war, accidentally.
He didn't really.
Well,
though.
arming
like,
the war.
He was a prisoner and all that, but this is the first legit. Like he is technically a civilian.
Yeah.
Like in this battle,
Mm-hmm.
and it really messes with him.
Because
But
he's not prepared for all the stuff that kind of comes.
then
up
we
with
got Thor: The Dark World.
Oh yeah.
that. Yeah.
This
That
movie.
Yeah, that movie.
Well, that one's kind of important because it does introduce another one of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah. For that
And
reason.
that's kind of it.
That
To be
is-
honest, I liked it when it
Yeah.
came out,
Yeah.
but that flame went out as soon as the rest of the movies came out.
Yeah, it was good at the time.
Yeah.
but
It hasn't aged well.
No.
it's right
It
before
has
Winter
not aged
Soldier.
well.
That kicked its butt.
Which, can we just skip talking about Thor: The Dark World?
I was
Yeah,
gonna
just
say
go
the only
straight to that
the
movie.
only
Anything
thing
else happen?
I like the original Thor more than the Dark World.
Other than they put the ether where with the Collector.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
okay. We kind of have to.
Oh,
touch on that.
But-
Oh, and
yeah.
Loki fake dies and runs Asgard for like 5 years.
Okay, Loki
Or
fakes
some.
dies almost every movie.
And Loki shows
But-
that he's a super duper trickster by tricking him and then tricking Thor again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the
They tried
fight.
him,
I
like,
guess
twice
at the
the
end of
same
Thor: The Dark World.
I do
thought
like
that
what
was
they do
kinda
with his
neat.
hammer and everything. in
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
'cause
where
they
it comes
take
out.
it away
I thought
from
that was
him.
cool.
Like they teleport him
Yeah.
halfway across the universe.
Uh-huh.
They take the hammer away, and the hammer just nopes out. Like it just it goes
Yeah.
up into
Which
the,
I
like,
bet. I wonder if I watch that, and I wonder if I'll see some of these parts of the world they're introducing now fully.
like Easter eggs and
Yeah,
stuff.
I
Like
wonder
you'll
if
just
I
see a
watch
floating
that
skull
now.
for nowhere
Yeah.
in there. Probably
Yeah.
because Guardians was probably in
and thank
development
God
at that
Natalie
time.
Portman is gone after this movie. She's not a
Right.
hindrance
Yeah.
on anything.
She's mentioned.
mentioned.
She's
Jane
mentioned, but
Foster.
I
Didn't
mean,
he just say they didn't work out? Wasn't
It
his,
didn't
that
work
his
out.
explanation?
Actually, I haven't
Yeah.
watched
Didn't
Thor
work out,
Ragnarok in
Yeah.
and they just
forever.
leave it at that.
right.
But anyway,
Which
not
is
not the
still
worst
hidden.
movie.
Yeah.
A little
But-
better because like Pepper disappears, but she's still
Ooh.
talked about like she's there, and I know it's the whole actress thing.
It's even
But-
weirder.
Yeah, she was gone for a long
Yeah.
time. Like she wasn't under contract
Long
by Marvel
time.
for a while. After Iron Man
Yeah.
3, she was done until Spider-Man, right? That's when
Yes.
she
Yeah.
came back.
That's the first time you see her.
And when
Yeah.
you see her, I'm like, whoa, I didn't
it's-
know she was in this
but it's
movie.
like 30 seconds, I
Yeah.
think. I haven't
that's
watched
it.
But
in a
it gave
while.
you the
Yeah.
impact that it
Yeah.
was intended.
That was
Yeah.
the big deal though,
That
because
was the big surprise
he
of the movie.
That's when they got married, like
That's when he
engaged
proposed.
and whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
because originally he was going to unveil Spider-Man as the Avenger,
yeah.
as an Avenger.
But
Yep.
the director of Thor: The Dark World is what I want to question. Didn't he direct some Game of Thrones episodes?
He might have.
Alan
Every
Taylor.
episode of Game of Thrones is good. Let's
Alan
start there.
Taylor.
I'm not sure.
Try and check here.
I feel like, but I think that's where that guy got some of his rep was because of that.
Director Alan Taylor. Let me just pull this up.
Did he do anything with them? Yeah,
Or The
Game
Dark
of Thrones,
World.
Yeah.
Sopranos. Yeah, he did some Sopranos. Game of Thrones, Boardwalk Empire. So he's an HBO lifer, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah,
So
Mad
He didn't-
episode
yeah.
Beyond the Wall.
not
he
not
did a
the worst
specific episode.
MCU film, but not the best. It's kind of like in the middle of the pack to me.
I'd say even a little
Yeah.
bit on the lower
I would put it on the lower end,
But
but
yeah.
Yeah.
lower third.
Anyway,
So
Captain America.
yeah.
The
Winter
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier, to me, is still the best solo movie. From as far as pacing, there's not you cannot argue with me on pacing. That movie paces
Yeah.
itself perfectly.
I haven't
is a
seen it in a
perfect.
while, but yeah.
It's a good.
My dad
thriller.
watches it like every 2 weeks. Like he loves that movie religiously.
Well, it's got such a different feel.
it
to
is,
It
it's just-
because
plus-
he's on the run.
Robert Redford's a great villain.
Yeah.
He is. He's a fantastic villain, and it fits. Like he was a Hydra agent the whole time. All
And it
the
is like a
years, and it's
slow
like-
burn as like every little piece gets unveiled
Yeah.
throughout the thing where it's like originally you're just like, oh, it's Bucky, he's back, and
Yeah.
it's all that, and then it's like
Like when he
no,
takes the
it's
mask
not
off and he
Bucky.
goes, "Who the hell is Bucky?" And it's like, and even when that callback scene where he has Cap's shield briefly,
Yeah.
if you freeze that, I'm like, okay, well, they phoned it home back then too. But if you look back to First Avenger, they even phoned it home as early as that movie. If you look back far enough into those scenes when he's on the train with the shield and he's deflecting the Hydra
Yeah.
blasts.
That was probably the first movie they legit started calling back imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Other than Winter Soldier's fantastic and sets up so much.
First one done by Anthony and Joe Russo.
Yep.
Those guys are amazing. They really are.
Yeah,
That
there's,
is-
there's something else.
Like honestly, I think after that they surpassed Joss Whedon to me. Like I thought Joss Whedon was the standard because everybody
Yeah.
talked about how great
He
Joss
was.
Whedon was.
Until
they
I would
surpassed
say
him.
Civil War,
Civil War, they surpassed him there.
because they were able to put all those characters
Yeah.
on screen.
To be fair though, they're two people, and he's
Yeah.
one person.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So there's an asterisk. I'll put an asterisk there. So anything else? Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I think it's great.
Nick Fury,
standalone movie
Shield
that you don't
ending.
even have to be a fan of.
Shield,
Like
and
Marvel
it's the
watch.
Empire Strikes Back of the Marvel universe.
Yeah, you
I
can
think.
just go in
you
blind
can go
and
in and
enjoy it.
watch it, and it's fantastic.
Yep.
And everything just like
Yeah,
everything
Shield's done.
breaks after that.
Yeah,
It's
Shield's
kind of like
done.
a fresh start.
Yep.
It's like they got rid of Shield and Hydra basically in one snap.
Hydra was
Really.
still there afterwards.
Yeah, through Age of Ultron, I guess.
Uh huh.
But anyway, that's Guardians,
Guardians
which I'm
next.
sure we got a lot to talk about with Guardians.
Pleasant surprise, I think, is what I.
It was a
thought of
surprise.
Yes,
I did not
that is
expect
the
it to be
best
great.
thing
No.
to
And it was
describe
so
that
good.
movie as. I thought, I'm like, wow, this is gonna be the first bomb. Everybody thought that.
Right.
No one
There's
knew who they
nobody,
were.
nobody, yeah, nobody thought. I mean, but then you watch them like, wow, this movie's fantastic.
They won with dance.
Yeah. Dance
With
off.
Star-Lord dancing.
They knew.
Thanos is in it. First appearance
Yes.
of Thanos.
Yep.
Is that legit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh
Yep.
Brolin. I didn't think
I don't
he
think it
played
was
that
Josh
long.
Brolin. At
No, it was
that
Josh
time.
Brolin.
Was it?
It was Josh
Wow.
The
Brolin.
whole time.
Yep.
Jeez,
I didn't think he was playing it that long either.
I didn't know.
But yeah, that movie's fantastic. It's like Star Wars, but Marvel.
And funny.
That's what I would say.
That's-
Or funnier.
Better.
That's what I was going to say.
Oh,
No, I think
yeah.
that was. They knew if they tried to take themselves seriously, like some of these past movies, it wouldn't work.
It would be awful.
It would absolutely not work.
Yeah.
And I think this is where Marvel really stops being afraid to add comedic relief into some of the movies, because I think they were a little afraid of it at first, because you didn't really mix that too much. It was just, this is an action drama and that's it. And now we always get these like good little quips, at least throughout the movies, where I don't think we got that as much
I agree.
before Guardians.
Yeah, Winter Soldier was probably the most serious movie.
Yep.
It was successful, so if Guardians hadn't been successful, who knows what it would look like now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is my favorite movie of Phase 2.
Age of Ultron.
And yep, I love Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
It is probably, other than Infinity War, might be my favorite. I love its pacing. From the start, it starts off with a bang. And now you can see why I prefer this over the first Avengers, because it's just,
Right.
it starts off so quick and it goes,
You
it does not
snap.
stop. I was like,
Oh.
who's disappearing? But it's like,
Tom Holland.
I don't know. But I liked Ultron
poor
as a
baby
villain.
Tom
I
Holland. We'll
really
get there.
loved Ultron as a villain. Like, he's
Yeah.
so
He was good.
Yes.
fantastic as a villain that I could watch that movie forever and not care how many times I've seen it.
I know a lot of people, again, will go after Tony Stark in the movie because they're like, well, it's his fault, and all this. But I think it's actually really good point to Tony's character of just, like, sometimes whenever you're trying to, like, prevent a problem, you set yourself on the path to it.
Yeah.
And I think it just adds to Tony's character instead
that
of
so much.
getting mad and being like, oh, that was so stupid of him to do it. And it's like, no one knew what would happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also a much better movie in, like, retrospect. Like, after you look back on it
It's
and
aged
think
well,
about it
too.
and everything. It's one of those things where, like, Ultron was a program that Tony Stark and Bruce Banner created to just, like, it was a defense mechanism that just kind of went haywire.
Yeah.
And then, like, Vision was the 2.0 of that.
Yeah.
And it comes back in Infinity War where Vision is like, they're talking about how to get the Soul Stone. Or no, was that the Soul? No, that was not.
Mind Stone.
Yes,
The
the
Mind
Mind
Stone.
Stone.
Mind
The Mind Stone.
Because it's on his head.
Yes.
It's in his mind.
The Mind
It
Stone
is his
out of
mind.
Vision. And they talked about how Vision wasn't just the Mind Stone. The Mind Stone gave him his, like, soul.
Yeah.
But the best parts of Vision were the parts that Bruce put in, the parts that Tony put in, and the, like, things that they did together to make
It's
him.
Jarvis.
Yeah.
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 So it's just
Ultron figures out, also Vision, they also figure out what happens to them in Infinity War. That last scene where they're in the forest with the last
yeah.
Ultron bot, and it's Vision.
that conversation is really great.
That conversation, now after seeing Infinity War, is so much more meaningful to watch to me.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they'll lose, or they will fail, or something like that. And then Vision's line, which I can't remember it exactly to repeat it, but you all know what I'm talking about. That line is fantastic. Might be one of the best lines in the MCU.
It's like, and then the extra
Or it's like, it's
characters-
something, just because something lasts does not mean it was beautiful, or something like that.
Right.
Like, where he
Yeah.
goes, it's a privilege to be among them. And I'm like, that is such a great line. I don't
That's-
care
that's
if
the
Joss
difference
Whedon
between
stayed
the
up
two.
for 2 months in a row to get this movie done, which that's why he explains he leaves, because this movie drove him to a point where it's like he was working so much on this movie that he just said, screw it, I'm done.
That's the difference between Ultron and Vision, though. Vision sees the beauty in mankind, and Ultron just sees the flaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the whole thing.
Well,
Last one, Phase 2 is Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was the first movie where they started bringing out these more obscure Marvel characters
yeah.
for me
Yeah.
that I'd never
Oh,
heard
I
of,
think it was for
and went,
everybody.
"Oh, here comes the downhill of Marvel, and this is going to be terrible." And then I was always blown away, and
Phase
I've
3 is
kind
huge,
of
man.
taught myself to stop being
I've
like,
never
oh, this
realized
is the
how big
flop,
it
here
was,
comes
like,
the flop.
wow,
I
that's a
loved
lot.
Ant-Man. I loved it.
Ant-Man is really
I
good.
went in expecting it to be just terrible because it's Ant-Man. What do you want? We already
no
had
one cares.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, this is ridiculous. Nope, I
Yeah.
was absolutely wrong.
I liked the first Ant-Man.
Paul Rudd is great.
Yeah, Paul
Yes.
Rudd is great.
It would
good.
not be the same without him.
Oh, no.
He's a good supporting cast too, though.
You know, he's
In
like
the
50.
movie. He's got Michael
Isn't that
Douglas.
crazy?
Yeah.
Yes!
And he's got that
I
that dude
saw
does
it.
Jake
not
looks
look
more like
50.
he's 50.
I had
I
to throw it
strive
out
to
there.
live my life like Paul Rudd so that I
So
can
you
look
want to
like
look like
him
50
at 50.
when you're not.
Yeah, that's that's
I don't think anything else happens in that movie other than it introduces Ant-Man as a great
It
story,
introduces
right?
the idea of
Oh
the-
yeah,
the quantum
the
realm,
quantum realm,
which
will
does
be
really end up being really important.
now.
Yeah, really
it's like-
important now.
And
Yeah.
there is a theory going around that Paul Rudd knew about the events of Infinity War during the filming of Ant-Man. Because it was just one of those things where it's like, when you're signed on to do a movie like Ant-Man, where it's just like, okay, great, I'm here, I'm playing Ant-Man, this is great.
But why?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it's like, oh no, you don't understand. You are the most important movie, like, right now. Like, for what we have coming down the
Yeah.
line is, like, the most important thing.
Which people were kind of like on fatigue after Ultron. Like
I can
it's
see
like
that.
okay, we get this lighthearted movie after that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
wow, this next
And
one.
Phase 3
there's
starts off with a bang with Captain America Civil War.
that movie. A lot
let me
of
just
more
run-
people
let
than
me
you
run
would
down
think are
these real
split
quick.
on.
That is such a long phase. Yeah, run through them.
Captain America Civil War, then Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Captain Marvel.
And Endgame.
Does
is
it?
that-
No, I think
no,
it's
that's
4.
That's 4.
It's not out yet. That might be why it's not on there.
No,
No,
it's
it's
Or is it
four.
Phase 4?
Yeah,
It's
that's
Phase
the
4.
beginning
Okay.
of Phase 4.
Yep, then it's the soft reboot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That movie-
I really enjoyed Civil
yeah,
War.
yeah.
It wasn't what I expected.
It was my
which-
favorite
is
until
good and
Infinity
bad.
War.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so as
Okay.
well.
I've talked to so many people about this movie ever like how many years it's been out already, which wow, I can't believe it's been that long. There people are so divided on that movie that you wouldn't think it was as successful as it was, because one person goes, well, Captain America didn't die, because then this is really the first, actually, you know what, this is the first movie that I've seen that happen to in the MCU, where people just micromanage the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, nobody big died. Nobody.
They don't have to.
Well, actually, you know what? The Disney execs told them that you can't kill anybody in this movie that's of any consequence to. Like, you can't kill Iron Man, you can't kill Captain America, you can't kill anybody, but we'll kill Peggy Carter.
No fun.
I
Spoiler alert,
I
Peggy
think it would
Carter
have been better
dies.
if it just been titled
And the
different.
Black Panther's dad dies.
I
so.
think it would have been better as an Avenger movie and maybe cut out.
Yeah,
as
maybe
much
not
Cap.
call it
It-
that, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it works
fits,
great
though,
as
but that's
a
the
Captain
thing. It
America
fits.
movie.
It was kind of a bad Captain America.
It's
Yes,
Avengers
but as an Avenger
2.5.
movie,
yes,
is
it
what it
was.
is.
I thought it was fine.
The problem is you just had Avenger movie 2 movies.
That
Yeah.
movie, though,
Yeah.
I loved Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's Avengers 1 and a
Having
half.
said
Yeah.
that,
Yep.
having said that,
Start naming it like Kingdom Hearts.
it does take a little bit to get going.
Yeah.
Yes.
In comparison to like Winter Soldier, like it takes a little bit longer to get
Yeah.
the chains moving, but once you're there, they keep going, man. They don't
Dude,
stop.
The
It's an
climax
emotional.
of that movie
It's
is
the best.
like,
They've still
most satisfying thing to watch, I would say.
Yeah.
but it's so complicated though, because I was so like I'm as torn apart watching it as it's happening. I'm like, wow, when you see that video, when
Yeah.
Tony watches the video, I was automatically on Iron Man's side.
Yeah.
I was like, I want him to beat the shit out of the Winter Soldier so bad, even though I know it wasn't him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to just see him get screwed up in the worst way. And then I also honestly wanted to see Cap taken down a few notches, because you know what, he protects him way too
He
much.
has been
Yes.
being
So-
he's been a dick at this point.
Yeah.
Captain America has. But then at the same time, like, objectively,
Yeah.
he's correct.
Yeah, he's right.
That's why it's the Captain America movie.
Throughout the whole movie. That's why Tony Stark's really the villain.
Yeah.
Iron Man's really the real villain of the movie, but well, not really, but
yeah.
In a sense.
in a sense he is.
antagonist.
He's the
The
antagonist,
antagonist.
not the villain. The antagonist, really. And that whole fight there is amazing.
It's
Like,
so
it
easy to
is-
take Iron Man's side, though, at
it's
the
so
same time and just be like, no,
pulse
Iron Man's
pounding,
right,
though.
too. It's like,
Yeah,
they're
they're
both
both
right to a
right,
point,
yeah.
and they're both wrong to a point.
Yeah. But it's so like my heart was literally beating up against my chest even more when it was the only other thing that actually equaled that was when they were fighting Thanos on Titan.
Yes.
That was the only other thing that ever equaled that.
That is the first time I feared for characters in this universe, was
Yeah.
that battle between Iron Man, Captain America, and Winter Soldier.
I thought Winter Soldier was going to die, man.
I
did
thought
too.
someone was going to.
Yeah.
Like, I was
Like-
just like...
I love it's so like disheartening though when the Black Panther's sitting on the hill
Yeah.
with
that
Zemo,
part's even amazing, too.
and he goes, "What the hell does he say?"
It's like Zemo had gotten what he wanted, and it's like I broke them down and all that. That's all I wanted, and he goes to like kill himself because that's he completed his mission.
Yeah.
But I love that Black Panther just grabs the gun, stops the bullet, and is like, "No, your judgment is for like the people or something." It's like it's not up to you to take your life;
Yeah.
it's up to someone else. Like it's out of
Well,
your
that
hands.
doesn't he tell him like you know this isn't. Oh my god, I can't. He says something else profound,
Yeah,
and I can't remember what it is, and I hate it.
because then everyone thought like he was going to take his revenge.
Or
on
he
him and
goes,
kill him
"No,
there."
this is not the end of them," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
It also plays to Black Panther's character
Yeah.
because the entire time he was trying to get revenge for the death of his father.
Yeah, he was
And
trying
then
to
he
kill
gets
him
there
the
and he
entire-
saves the guy that actually killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that man. Plus, Winter Soldier's arm gets cut off.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. Like, that got brutal real quick and then you see Captain America just beating the tar out of Iron Man, and I'm like, this isn't fair, it's 2 against 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, and then he goes, okay, reacclimate to it, and then he
like,
goes, let's
Friday
kick
in
his
his
ass.
helmet.
I love that.
Yeah,
whole
Friday
thing,
in
and
his
he
helmet is just like, okay, I've like scanned his fighting, like his
Pattern,
fighting,
yeah.
his pattern and all that. And then he's like, let's kick his ass. And then just takes them both down, like single-handedly.
Yeah.
So
It's-
that ends the debate that Iron Man could kick Cap's ass pretty.
Oh, for
Oh,
sure.
He
absolutely.
could destroy him if he
Yeah.
wanted to. Like,
But I also love that Cap gets up and like
Yeah,
that
that
twinkle of Cap comes through, like original Cap, where he's just standing there and he's
All
like
right,
out
I
of
can
breath
do
and
this
he's
all
beat
day.
to shit and
He's
he's just like, I can do this all day.
Yeah.
If he
Yes.
says that in Endgame, I'm gone.
I'm
That's right.
gonna
Yeah.
cry. Yeah, probably.
Let's hope he does.
But then that was the only moment I was scared he was gonna die.
yes.
But then you see Winter Soldier grab his leg, and then Captain America, after for some reason he sees Bucky, not when he got his arm kicked or cut off, but gets kicked in the face by Iron Man. Now he gets this rage and he picks up Iron Man and tears the thing out of his chest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, takes the shield and then like
Yeah.
almost goes to. It was bad. It was terrifying at the time.
And
It
then
really was.
It really just emotionally damaged me.
yeah.
Okay.
And then he goes, "My dad gave you that shield," and then he drops it, and then he's not Captain America.
Yeah.
He's
Yep.
done, really, as Cap. Really.
Which they like look at his outfit throughout the years and everything, and at I believe Civil War, he's ripped the United States flag off of his uniform, and then after Civil War, going into Infinity War, he's ripped the star off of it. So it's like he's removing parts of Captain America from himself as he's going through his like arc.
Yeah, that movie's hard top, man. But Phase 3, to be honest, does its damnedest.
Yeah.
Oh my
To
God.
try.
Crap, yeah.
It's-
I thought Doctor Strange was amazing. Just
Oh.
because
Which was
Doctor
really
Yeah,
great.
Strange.
guess
They pulled
what?
it off.
Doctor Strange was another one where I went in and been
Yeah.
like, we don't need this. What the hell is this about? And left and went, oh my god, I love everything about this.
Yeah. Space Wizard.
Yes.
Dude, Doctor Strange.
It's
like,
the sleeper hit of this
Yeah.
whole thing.
Yeah.
The entire, like, even still people are like, what? Where's the Doctor Strange movie? I haven't seen it. I'm like, what? But then you'd be surprised. It's kind of understandable, though, because there's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many MCU movies at this point. They're like, what? There's a Doctor Strange movie?
yeah.
Yeah, there is. It's fantastic. You should go see it. Benedict Cumberbatch is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job.
He was really good. I'm surprised he took it.
Yeah.
I
really
did not
am.
think he was.
I thought he was really into drama too much, and he just wasn't gonna
With
like
Sherlock.
stoop to this.
Cash the chips, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, it was a guaranteed hit. Like
Yeah.
no matter what, at this point, if you took a Marvel gig,
Yeah.
you made a profit.
Yeah.
And you made a crap ton of money. But I was still surprised he took it, and I think that he's glad he did. Doctor Strange is one of the more profound characters now. And he is literally the all-knowing person in the universe right now, and I love it. It's great.
Guardians is next. I thought it was okay.
That's probably the best
Yeah,
assessment of it.
that
It was
is-
okay.
Boy, I
Yeah.
kind of expected a little bit more.
Honestly, out of
Still
these
good.
movies here, I think it might be the worst.
I would say
I would
that.
absolutely agree
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
can't believe I'm saying that, but
Yeah, I would agree.
Out
boy,
of everything in
it's
phase
not
3.
as good as the first movie.
No,
it is not
not
in
at
any way,
all.
shape, or form. And I think that had a lot to do with
It had
the
its
whole
moments.
dad thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole dad thing I think brought it down.
I'll tell you what, though, it has one of the best moments in the MCU, though, with Yondu.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That whole thing with he goes, he may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy. And I'm like, oh, man.
Oh, not that I'm Mary Poppins, y'all?
Yeah. Oh, Mary
Yeah.
Poppins, y'all. And it's like,
My favorite part is actually whenever Quill is being brainwashed by his father, and he's like strung up there, and like he's getting into his mind and everything. And his father is like, that's why I had to put that tumor in your mother. And then he just snaps out of it, and he's like, what? And then just shoots him without him answering. And it's just like, that says more to Quill's character
Yes.
than anything else. And I know people are upset about him ruining Infinity War, which
Yeah.
I go against that. Nope, that had to happen. That's him. Like, it was going to happen. There was no stopping it. That's who Quill is. And he has been the same character through the entire
I don't
thing.
think
Yeah.
I've seen that movie since the theater. That might be one of the only Marvel movies I own it. I just
It-
haven't.
Yeah.
If I have, maybe one more time after
Yeah,
the theater.
yeah.
Maybe. It
Boy,
doesn't-
that is really weird.
You
Just to
don't-
say, like, that movie's
Right.
the worst of the Phase 3 movies.
Considering it's Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
I
it's
know.
held on such a high pedestal because of the first one.
Yeah.
But the second one is the low point of Phase 3.
So how about Spider-Man
Oh, I
Homecoming?
loved it.
Oh, I loved that
It was so
movie.
good.
Yeah.
It was
That
so
movie's
aware of
fantastic.
itself,
I
too.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
That
It didn't
movie's
try and
amazing.
do the same magic that they did with the same Raimi movies.
Yeah.
It completely moved away from that, and I'm glad. It didn't try and take itself too seriously. It just
No.
said, let's have fun with this. And it wasn't an enemy that was trying to destroy the world. It was an, or not enemy, but a villain. It was a villain that you could sympathize with.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton.
And Michael Keaton
And I
plays
think
that role.
That's what really made it
perfectly.
It
Like,
was-
he's-
This is when he returns to movies, too.
Yeah.
yeah, this
Yeah.
was his big comeback, really.
better. Except for Birdman.
Yeah, he should have won for that.
He really should have
TBH.
won for that.
Freaking Eddie Redmayne.
But
It-
anyway.
It was just really nice to not see adult Peter Parker. Because
Yeah.
we'd already done it like
We've
twice
seen it
by
twice
that point.
already.
Yeah.
And just, this is... I have a friend who is probably the most diehard Spider-Man fan ever. Like, she knows from the comics that, like, what Peter Parker's birth weight was. It's
What?
terrifying.
That's different.
Terrifying.
Never heard of
And-
that one.
Right? And even this Spider-Man has, like, her seal of approval that she enjoys it, which
Okay.
like, if she approves of a Peter Parker, I'm like, okay, then that one's the best. Like,
Must be legit.
right? If you know the comic's birth weight, then
Yeah.
I think at first, like, he had to show me a little bit more for me to crown him the best Spider-Man, because to me it's still Tobey Maguire. But I think in this next movie that's coming out in July, I think once I see it, I'm pretty sure my opinion's going to change after
I
that.
think Infinity War knocked it out for me at least.
And-
Yeah.
I think he really proved it.
You mean with the
Yeah.
improvised scene at the end, which we'll get to.
Oh, just
Not only that,
We'll get to that.
him just jumping up to action.
Yeah.
You know, he was in the middle of a field trip, and it's just like, nope, we gotta go. Like, this is it.
kids seen
And then-
superheroes before? And I'm like, oh
But
my
he
god, did you
really-
guys see? Damn it, we got to get to Phase.
compared to, like, everybody
Damn it,
else,
we got to get to. I
though,
want to talk about
We'll
that
get
so
there.
bad.
but, like, all the other
I'm so excited.
people we've had in these phases leading up to this,
This is
have been
happening during
adults.
my
And this
lifetime.
is the first, like,
I love
teenage adventure superhero that we have who just wants to run with the
I'm gonna
big
be
dogs
like
and just
87 years
Yeah.
old and go,
almost is there.
oh my
Yeah.
god,
Not
Jake, this
quite.
happened.
And it's
And then,
adorable
like-
to
And
me. I
he's
love it.
dumb.
DC will be
Yes.
getting their
He
day in
gets
the
by
sun
with
finally.
dumb
luck.
I'm
Yes.
gonna go,
But that's the Peter Parker way.
idiots.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I,
Thor Ragnarok's next, which I thought was a pleasant surprise. I was excited for it,
Yes.
but I didn't know really what to expect.
Right.
And
exactly.
like you said with a couple of the others, that movie starts off with a bang and it does not stop.
Yes.
Yeah, he kills
that's one of the
Surtur in the
best-
first, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
That's one of
I'm
the
like,
best
I thought
beginnings
he
of
was the
it.
bad guy. I thought
Yeah.
he was the real bad guy.
Surtur
Yeah.
is the Ragnarok. Like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
That's what it is. And yeah.
And at first, I was pissed about that, though. When I saw
Yeah.
him kill, I'm like, what the fuck's happening? But then it's amazing.
But
the movie
It sets
flips
up
me on my
exactly like
head, and I'm
Guardians.
like,
No,
this
I
is
think
great.
that's it. I think
Like,
it
this is
learned
great.
so much actually from the Guardian movies because Thor 1 and 2, especially 2, takes itself a lot more serious. It
Yeah.
did not do well. And as soon as they were like, whatever, we'll make it kind of like a comedy.
cares?
Right, who cares?
And he's
Nobody likes these
amazing
movies
at it.
anymore.
Yeah.
Then it was amazing.
Yeah.
That absolutely blew my mind. Loved it.
And Jeff Goldblum was good too.
Yeah.
The Loki and Thor moments were very organic. Like before, it was just kind of like they butted heads and everything. But in this, like Thor is telling other people stories of their childhood.
Yes.
It's just like, yeah, there was this one time that he transformed into a snake and then tried to bite me, but I realized it was him. And then he transformed back into a human and stabbed me in the stomach.
Yeah.
It was a great time. And then it's just like, and then Loki's just there and he's like smiling and nodding, like, yeah, that happened. And it's just like that's it. Like that's it. That's what we
Yeah.
need from them
He goes,
now.
He's adopted. He goes,
It's like that's your brother.
oh,
He's
and
adopted.
Asgard's gone.
Yeah.
And Asgard is
Asgard is gone.
Yeah.
Like, there's no more Asgard.
Which I.
But Asgard's the
Isn't
sequel.
Asgard's going to be on Earth now,
Right.
Yeah,
technically?
Yeah.
the field that their father dies
Which
is
is in
apparently where he
Ireland,
wanted
right?
to. Yeah, it's like that's where he wanted to bring the people back
Yeah.
and create like a second Asgard. So that's
Boy,
what
that's
the
not
theory
gonna happen
is.
now.
Half of them.
I don't know what's going to
Oh,
happen,
yeah, I
honestly. I
guess.
have no idea.
Yeah, it does really set up a Thor 4 though, and after his
Yeah.
refreshing like comeback in Thor Ragnarok, it could happen. It's just also that issue of like the Superman
Superman,
complex
yeah. How
where
do you
he's just
handle
so
it?
powerful at this point.
Yeah.
Well, that ties into some other characters in the universe as well.
Yeah.
We'll get to.
Yep.
Black
Black
Panther.
Panther's next, and I thought that was good. I don't think it's the best movie ever, like some people think.
No, but this
But
this
it was
was
good.
this was the last time I let myself go, why do we need this? Before going to go see it and be like, this is why we need this, okay.
And he's such a kick-ass hero, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
he is a
Yeah.
badass. His suit is awesome.
He's
like,
really
not even
good.
really since, like, Iron Man, where I thought, man, that guy is cool.
Yeah.
Like, this guy is awesome. He's a badass, you know?
He channels the most original Captain America.
Yeah.
Like he is the most superhero that I think we have in Phase 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's
Because
great,
even
though.
Captain Marvel has her flaws and stuff, and she's not really superhero.
No.
Black Panther is a superhero.
Yeah.
Like he's got the mentality. He's a king. He rules very well. All that stuff.
He was brought in
Yeah.
at the correct time, too.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
an excellent
Especially
hero.
now when the CGI is so advanced. Like,
Yeah.
if he would have
Yes.
came in at Phase 1, it wouldn't have been as impressive
Mm-mm.
to me.
It looked like Star Wars Episode 1 at times. If it came.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
they
some
chose
CGI
those
doesn't
first
age
few
well.
heroes so right, though, for the technology they had at the time. The first
Yeah.
Iron Man, you don't really have to do that much.
Put him
you
in a
know?
metal suit.
What was the most they've done? Probably Thor, right? That was
Thor.
probably the most they've done
Probably.
CGI.
Probably.
Asgard was very
all,
CGI.
Yeah.
Right, and we had recently rewatched the first Thor, and we even watched it, and we were like, ugh.
Yeah, some of the decisions were just kind of like that doesn't hold up too well. Like the fact that
not
they bleached
terrible.
There's actually one.
But yeah.
Well, I'm not going to touch on it. It's. There's one explosion in Iron Man that kind of looks kind of.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
Iron Man
how many
though, so
years
I'm gonna
ago.
let it.
Yeah.
And not only that, what budget did Iron Man have?
Yeah.
When at the time,
It
the
was like
only other good
120,
superhero
100.
ones were Batman and Spider-Man.
Batman got like 185 or 200 back then or whatever.
Yeah,
The Dark
who
Knight.
knows what they're getting now?
Yeah. Oh God, I don't even want to know.
DC is still kind of a train wreck, so.
Avengers.
It's getting there.
Infinity War.
Here it
So
is.
this will be an hour of Jake talking.
This will be.
Should I.
You don't understand. This movie changed my life.
Take a quick break
Yes.
and then come back to it?
Yep.
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to come back with Avengers Infinity War, and we'll wrap it up with Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then talk a little bit about Phase 4 and where we think they're going to go from here. So, yeah, stay tuned, and we'll get right back to it. Okay, this is part 2 of us talking about the Marvel movies. We are at Infinity War, which is in Phase 3.
Part 2 of 2, hopefully.
Hopefully, part 2 of 2. We just wrapped up part 1. So, Jake or Adam, did you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna add a few quick things here, which Jake will then expand on.
We'll see.
A lot. That movie, when it opens, and you see pretty much all the Asgardians either dead or incapacitated, I was like, wow, well, then you see Thor beaten almost half to death.
Not only that, we just ended Ragnarok. Not even
He
minutes
just
prior.
saved them.
And it was
and then
it was a super big comedic movie straight into this.
Yep.
And then Thor's already beaten, the strongest Avenger, beaten right out from the gate. Knocks out Hulk in less than a minute.
Proceeds to kick the ass of the second strongest Avenger within the next 5 minutes.
And then it's like kind of brutal. Like he brutalizes him, and I'm like, I'm not ready for this movie. I'm not ready for this. And then he kills Heimdall, which I'm like, God damn.
That was sad.
That was because that was Thor's best friend.
Yeah.
The Loki death. Oh.
That was tough.
Wow, that was a tough one to get through.
It was really good.
That's the thing where I'm like, I would not take my 10-year-old to see this, probably.
No.
That's way too real. That's way, way, way too real when you're, strangling. When you, that's, real. That's what actually happens
Right.
to,
We had,
that's, terrifying to watch that.
we had Jake's sister ask if our 5-year-old nephew would be okay to watch this movie, and we're like, genuinely, no, we wouldn't show it to
probably
him.
not.
It's scary for a 5-year-old.
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
alone the ending.
Well, there's mass
Yeah.
murder in it too.
Right.
And then going from that, Thanos is like, okay, go to Earth and get the... And then Loki takes the Tesseract was actually the... What was the stone in the Tesseract?
Space Stone.
Space Stone.
The blue one. It allows him to teleport through time. Through space. Sorry.
And
No,
Loki's
time.
gone.
The Space Stone.
And then we're all waiting for Loki to just come out of nowhere, and he never does.
Never does.
Yeah.
And then he goes, no resurrections this time, and I'm like, oh no, he's actually gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was one of the people thinking that Loki was going to survive deep into the movie,
Yeah.
and then he just dies in the first less than 10 minutes. I'm like, what? What?
I love Loki, but the thing I ran into with it was they cried wolf with him dying too often.
Yeah.
So when this happened, even though it was the for real time, I was so desensitized to him constantly dying. I was like, all right.
And I think Thor
Okay.
was a little bit too.
Yeah, because he looked at him, he goes, Loki. And he says his name just to see if he was for real,
Yeah.
dead. Then when the ship explodes, you're like, Thor's not dead, but you don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
And then Hulk gets sent to Earth, and then he warns, Doctor Strange and Tony Stark,
And then the attack starts.
and then Bruce Banner goes, this is it. This is the guy that sent Loki, 8 years ago or whatever.
Yep.
Or whatever, 6 years. But, then he goes, Thor's gone.
Yeah.
We're it. This is it. We're it. This guy's coming for
and
the stones.
they talk about the fact of we have one stone. We know where this is.
And then he's like, and then Tony tells Bruce, he's like, the Avengers are done. You've been gone for 2 years. The Avengers
Right.
are done. We're toast.
Yeah.
Because he missed all of
Civil War.
Because him and Cap are not on speaking terms. But he always has the phone with him, though.
I love
notice that?
I love
He
that
always
so
keeps
much.
the
It's
phone.
in his pocket, ready to he flips it up. He has it.
And he's about to call, and then they show up, and then Bruce calls him.
Yep.
After the fact, after Iron Man gets sent up into the spaceship with Spider-Man.
And Doctor Strange.
And Doctor Strange. Which Ebony Maw, man, he was they kind of barely beat him, actually.
yeah.
Other than getting sent into space, he was a powerful entity, and that fight was great, by the way.
They cheated, and that was the only way they were really going to win. Especially with Doctor Strange.
He reminded me of
incapacitated.
Magneto. Just taking
Yeah.
stuff and throwing, But then they're in space, they're stranded, and then they come up with a strategy to go to Titan to fight Thanos there, and I'm
Directly.
like, man, I didn't want... Well, here's the thing, though. At the time, I wanted to see Iron Man meet Captain America in this movie.
Yeah, and it didn't happen.
And it didn't happen. I was kind of disappointed by that so far, because I wanted it to happen, but then I'm like, oh, okay, there's... Now... Because honestly, in Infinity War, I did not expect any of this to happen.
No.
I thought this was it, and the fourth Avengers movie is going to be something else entirely.
Dude,
Yeah, same here.
everything Infinity War was a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
And then, they go to Cap rescuing Vision and everybody from, I don't know where the hell they were at, England or something.
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yes.
And then you see Cap's worn down.
Yeah.
You see he's world weary. He's a worn
He's been on the run for years.
Yeah, he's been worn down. He's not the same person. But then the look on Scarlet Witch's face when she sees him is so great to see because she's so happy to see him.
Yeah.
You know, even though she was about to die, but then she sees him and then it's like everything's okay now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that is a really great scene there. But then
It
I'm
really
like,
brings you back to Cap is like super strong.
Yeah.
Like he is a legit Avenger.
but then that girl holds her own though, the alien girl.
Yeah.
Like she's as good as Black Widow. Mm-hmm. Like, and really, she's better than Black Widow in terms of fighting because it took at the Wakanda battle, it took Black Widow, Scarlet Witch.
Yep. Yep.
I know who
you're talking about. I don't know her name though.
Okoye, something like that, to beat.
Black Panther's Queen's Guard
Yeah.
To beat her though.
or King's Guard.
Man, that movie's so amazing. I can't even begin. But here, okay.
And then they
I do
introduced the
have
Guardians really well too.
the Guardians. They're fantastic in that movie. I love the whole Groot playing the game. And he goes, Groot, I didn't tell you. I mean, he's like, I'm not going to tell you it again to put it down. He goes, I'm Groot. And he's like, whoa. It's like, I love
acorns
that.
on him.
You got some acorns on you, kid. And I'm like, oh my God, I love
See,
this
it
whole
doesn't
thing.
walk us through the jokes like Guardians 2 did.
Yeah,
Guardians 2 walked
2
us through the jokes too many times and ruined it.
James Gunn, man.
But I watched the director's commentary on the whole thing, and apparently the first scene they ever shot was Thor meeting the Guardians.
Oh.
It was trying to be a proof of concept scene in which if they couldn't have Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth in the same scene and both of them work really well together, they had no clue how the rest of the movie was going to work out. So whenever they recorded it all and it was perfect, they were like, okay, we might be able to actually do this. And Infinity War was written so many times.
Oh, wow.
It was written way before Ragnarok happened, and it had a completely different opening because they didn't know how to incorporate everything from Ragnarok happening at the same time. So much work went into this. And everyone gets their time of day, everyone gets their like entrance, everyone gets their exit.
Which everybody doubted that was going to be possible.
Yeah.
You know, everybody thought that like, wow, this has never really been done before.
Yeah, they lost. Like, they legit lost this time. And they'd gotten close before with Avengers 1 with Tony almost sacrificing himself, and that's why Cap is so gung-ho about we don't trade lives this time. And the snap actually happens, and we all kind of like theorized that it was going to happen. You know, it was going to be the last thing we see, like snap and then credits, and that was it. But then we see the aftermath.
I did not think that way through most of the movie until he stabs Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're not winning.
Yeah, because it's like he just beat Iron Man.
He just beat Iron Man pretty handedly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes to Earth, and none of the
That's
other
whenever
Avengers,
Doctor
except
Strange gives
for
him the time stone.
don't know at that point if Thor is as powerful as Thanos.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's so awesome when you realize he is
Yeah.
with Stormbreaker. Let me rephrase that. Stormbreaker is more powerful than the Gauntlet.
Which I'm surprised at.
I was shocked that they went with that
Yeah.
because I didn't think they were going to.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that they wanted to devalue the Gauntlet that quick.
Yes, especially since they'll need Captain Marvel, who is even maybe technically stronger than Thor, to come in during the second one to fight Thanos again.
She pretty much destroyed once she got her powers. Well, you didn't see Captain Marvel.
I have no interest in that movie.
But
That's just me.
But when
Quick little side thing on the Gauntlet. I think what kind of gets glossed over about the Gauntlet is that like the stones were around from the beginning of time and all this stuff. The Gauntlet was a new thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was the first one to be made of its kind. It was the first time anybody had used something like that, whereas Stormbreaker was Mjolnir, 2.0.
Yeah.
Like, they had stuff to work off of and upgrade, whereas, the Infinity Gauntlet itself was, almost like a starter weapon, if you will.
And it's a conduit. It can only be as strong as it can be. Yeah. So it's not the stones themselves that were beaten.
I think we'll see in Endgame how the Infinity Stones were created.
I thought they talked about how the Big Bang sent out the 5 sources of
which
Yes, it did.
humanity.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
movie was it that talked about that?
Strange.
Infinity War.
Infinity
Oh,
War.
Infinity War.
Doctor Strange talks about it
Oh,
whenever
as well.
they're
How
at.
did I miss that?
It's very quick.
Okay.
It's like whenever Hulk first arrives and they're explaining Thanos to Iron Man.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because
okay.
he's kind of given like a crash course to everyone in the audience and Iron Man at the same time. He's like,
Okay.
Wong is the one talking. He's like, in the beginning there was an
Oh
explosion.
yeah, wow, I glossed over that.
Yeah, see?
completely.
Right.
It's easy to miss.
Yeah, that's only like 11 minutes into the movie. And the movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes long.
Honestly, though, if I had to nitpick, I didn't love the whole Gamora Thanos thing, even though it's basically a Thanos movie.
They've
basically
confirmed
Thanos is-
it's Thanos' movie. Like, he is the protagonist and everyone else is
But-
the antagonist.
I
That's why
don't know.
every scene follows him.
Here's the thing I love. The only real thing I
didn't think of
really
Right.
loved
Mm-hmm.
about Gamora and Thanos' little vacation. I loved seeing the Red Skull.
Yeah,
That was
was-
awesome because
was, like, the
he
biggest
never really
surprise.
died. He did not die.
Yeah.
Don't expect that either.
No.
No,
not
he's not
at
going
all.
to die in
And it is
Endgame either.
it is legit a punishment to his character.
Yeah.
Because all he wanted was the power of the like Infinity Stone, and all he wanted was all the knowledge, and then he's given it, and he knows exactly where one of the stones is, but then he's like, I can only guide people to it. I can't take it for myself. And he's been
So,
there for
you know-
60 years.
Yep.
You know what that means? Him and Cap are going to meet in Endgame, and it's going to be phenomenal.
If he's even still
don't think
alive.
so. I think this was a one shot for Red
Yeah.
Skull. I personally,
I don't know though.
see him
Why
Why
coming
would
back.
you
back
like
there.
keep him alive though if Cap wasn't going to meet him?
But
at
do,
some
to
point?
show
do we
him there.
actually know he's still alive after Thanos getting the stone? If his
I would
entire
guess
purpose
so.
was
I
to
would.
guide them there,
Yeah,
and then
good
he
point.
was sort of maybe released from the bonds of this and is dead
Possibly.
now?
I mean,
That's a
that
good
could be
point.
a good point.
He could have been part of the snap.
That too.
Yes, they
No,
could
I'm just
have.
saying he could have.
Thanos included in
I don't
the
know.
snap.
I'm going to still
Himself
throw
in the
my
snap.
chip in that he probably in some way meets him in Endgame because, well, we'll get to Endgame. But the whole thing is whenever Thor puts the axe right in the Thanos, and then you're like, oh wow, are we really going to win on this note?
Yeah, it's
I'm like, I don't
it's
know if I'm
too
okay
close.
with
like
this.
it's almost bittersweet at
Well,
that
it's like
point.
I still wasn't seeing it because I was still so shocked of what was going on. If I would have
Vision
actually
had
paid,
died at that point
yeah,
already.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wow,
Like,
this is like a
Loki
kind
was
of
dead.
a loss.
Gamora was dead. He just killed Vision, and it's like, wow, like he's killed 3 Avengers. Like he's already taken his
And
toll.
then he
What else can
goes,
happen?
You should have gone for the head and the snap and
Oh, wow.
everything. And then Thor's like, whoa, what'd you do?
Yeah, I love that.
then-
He's like backing up, and he's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then he like teleports away and everything.
And then you see everybody
Yeah.
I like that it doesn't happen immediately. with
eviscerate.
Snap.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. They give you time
Toughest
to,
scene
like-
in that movie to watch is when Spider-Man is going. That is the toughest scene to watch in that entire movie because that's improvised. That's
And-
not in the script. That was an improvised scene.
But the thing of it too was he drew off the fact that in the comics, Spider-Man could feel it coming on because of the
spider
spider
sense.
sense.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it worse. Is that
Because
He knew it was happening.
Yeah.
No one else did. That was
Right.
the point of the what was it? The Reality Stone was to make it just happen.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
no one knew anything that was going on. Mantis and Spider-Man are the only 2 people that knew because it was already happening. Mantis could sense others in pain.
Sadness.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's whenever it happened to her. But then, yeah, Spider-Man actually felt it
Yeah,
happening
and
to
then Tony.
himself.
That's like he's basically like his surrogate son.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, and then that photo of him that in the Endgame trailer of them.
Yeah, like the
Like,
first
wow,
the
this
first
is
cut of the
crazy.
Endgame of the Infinity trailer is actually like Iron Man clutching his hands, and no one knew the context. But that's directly after Spider-Man had already died. Like the first scene we see in the trailer is after Spider-Man's death.
Oh.
It's
okay.
weird.
Yeah.
In retrospect,
Yeah.
And then it's
sad.
like, what are you going to do? And then, just to wrap up Infinity War, because we do need to
Right.
get to Endgame at some point. The post-credit scene where Nick Fury and Maria Hill are going through New York, and then Maria Hill goes. I did not think Nick Fury was going to go.
no.
I thought, man, okay,
Right.
all the honestly, I don't know. Should he have? I don't know though.
I
Really?
I think he would have made Endgame too easy. He knows too much.
Yeah.
because when we get these trailers and lead up to Endgame with all this stuff, like they make it a point that when they find Nick Fury's pager, they have no idea what it's for. They just have it on
Yeah.
a power source to keep it going, because all they can go off of is if this is what Nick wanted, then it must be important. And if Nick was there to answer the questions, I think that solves too much too quickly.
Yeah.
Because there's that one time that I think it's the end credit scene for Marvel. Whenever
believe
she
you're right.
appears, they talk about how, like, it's stopped a couple times, but they keep on turning it back on. Because it's like, he needed it, like, he turned it on for a reason.
It never stopped. They were just afraid of it keep
Yeah.
going. And then it stops, and they're like, what now? And she just appears behind them, and she asks, where's Nick? Where's Fury? And cuts.
Yes.
That, and he was the one that put the original Avengers together. Mm-hmm. So he was their guide.
Yeah.
So
Right.
without him, they were like, okay, what do we do? He
It's
was
not
always
like
the one that
it-
told them what to do. So
Yeah.
it was like,
It's them moving on without their Kenobi.
yeah, like he's,
Yeah. It would have
Yeah.
made Endgame too easy if he was there.
Yep.
yeah.
Because he'd know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would explain the whole situation to, like, Captain Marvel. She would have known what
20-minute
was
movie.
going on.
Right.
Yeah.
That would have been it.
Speaking of Endgame, you guys see how long it is?
3.
So excited.
3
I know.
hours.
I want it to be longer.
I want to know who are the people.
I'd rather
Yeah.
be.
Make it 24 hours, please.
Just please. I don't want it to end.
I want to know who
Just
the
go on
people are that
forever,
are so
please.
worried about holding their bladder for 3 hours.
I'm not drinking
have people
anything.
not done
I am
this?
not
Tinkle beforehand.
drinking.
You'll be
That's
okay.
it. Yeah, but everybody's
not
like, oh my
drinking.
god, how are we
I'm
going to
not
get through this? We
drinking
should have
anything.
intermission.
Did you watch
I'm
Lord of the
like,
Rings?
I don't
Because it's
care
4
if
hours.
I'm dehydrated. I will watch the whole thing.
I'll cry until I'm out of tears.
Actually, it's probably good that I'm delirious at one point
That's good,
because
love
I'm
to
probably
be.
going to be
Yeah, there you
something
go.
that's going to
No liquid in your
unnerve me.
body.
So it's like,
Also, just to end Infinity War, my favorite thing is it cuts to black with Captain America sitting there over Vision's corpse. Everyone around them is turned to dust, and they're all just kind of like shambling towards him because they're just like it happened.
Right.
And then he just looks up and he's like, "Oh God!" And then it ends, and it's like
Yeah.
it's the best note. I'm so glad it ended there instead of at the snap,
Yes.
because it's like it broke everything. Everything's broken.
oh,
then
See you
Stop.
guys next
just
time.
Yep.
to lightly touch on it. Do you remember when Thanos threw the gauntlet down and Cap's just holding it up?
Yeah.
That whole scene is like, wow. Like and then he's like all surprised. He's like, what, a human's doing this? Like he's
Yeah.
like not letting me kill him, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. But
And
yeah.
I think the thing they said was like, don't let him close his hand.
Yeah.
That's what they knew on Titan.
Don't let him
Yep.
close his fist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He tells the
Well, they
blanket.
almost got it off.
almost.
Spider-Man literally, which that's how it happens in the comic books.
Yeah.
Is Spider-Man gets the gauntlet off of Thanos.
And that whole thing with Doctor Strange going toe to toe with him
That's amazing.
for like a good 45 seconds. Because at this point, before Captain Marvel's creation, like in the cinematic universe, she's already a point at this point. But Doctor Strange, I believe, is the most powerful person,
Yes.
Yeah.
not including Captain Marvel, who is
Or Adam
somewhere else.
Warlock.
Or Thor.
Yeah.
Adam Warlock's up there too.
He's a different kind of powerful. I think
Yeah.
that's what you have to.
He's more of a
He
mystical
bends
powerful.
he bends
Yes.
reality to his whim.
Yes.
Whereas like Thor is just straight strong, whereas like Doctor Strange can make himself strong in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's great.
So, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Not as good as the first one, but still good.
See,
Yeah.
I'm going to
the Wasp
say
was great.
that it was better because of her.
Yeah, she was
That's
really
my-
good. She
That's
was the first.
That's
probably,
the only really thing that makes it different than the first one is because she's in it.
and she kicks ass.
Yeah, she kicks absolute ass in that movie.
I think this is one of the few Marvel movies where, because there was a very specific end that they had to get to,
Yeah.
that the lead up to it struggled a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll agree with
Because
that.
the end was so
The end
Important.
justifies the means.
yeah, and so that just kind of ended up being the problem. It desperately needed to get there, and I wouldn't say it didn't care how it got there, but it was a little sloppy
Did it
on how
sacrifice
it got
its
there.
own storytelling to get there?
Yes,
Okay.
And to be fair, it had to.
it
Right.
had to. Like, yeah,
Like it had to bridge that gap so that Endgame could happen.
Yeah.
right.
I have not seen that one. I will be watching that before it
Oh, it's
comes
great.
out next week.
Yeah.
I'll be watching that one.
So all the post-credit scene, which I don't really want to spoil it for Nathan, even though it kind of sets up Endgame, directly sets up Endgame.
You can. I mean, it's not a big deal. I'm going to watch it anyway. Not gonna be mad.
Well, they get snapped.
Everyone.
Right? Everybody gets snapped.
Everyone except Scott.
He's it. Everybody.
The thing is, though, and I think this will lead directly into Endgame,
Yeah.
is they have a new person that needs quantum realm energy to survive.
Okay.
That's just what the whole story is about. So Scott is in the quantum realm by himself, collecting the energy, collects it, goes on his radio. Okay, guys, like
Pull me out.
pull me out.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to them, not there anymore, but just dust kind of like crumbling. Everyone that was there.
Black, yep.
And
Yeah,
he's
so
gonna come back
Hank,
and find
Pam,
nobody.
everybody
Yeah.
else from his
That's
He needs
kind
to
of the
find a way out,
cliffhanger it
too.
leaves on is that
Yeah.
his
we don't know
family's
how.
gone too.
Right.
Everybody's
Yes.
gone.
Yeah. So, and then the very end game sequence is really the very end credit sequence is really interesting. It gives us the first look into the world after the snap, in that it cuts to his house, and the TV has the emergency broadcast on, and it's just like emergency, like seek shelter, that type of thing, and it's just dead silent. It's
Yeah.
so quiet.
It's like a zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
That's creepy.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Okay.
So the getting to that point is great.
Okay.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel is the last one in Phase 3.
Which I think it is necessary. Just
Yeah, we can
understand
call it
her.
that.
To understand her.
Yes.
Her
Sure.
powers and everything.
If she would just show up, it would
matter
like
as
cheapen
much.
her.
It would cheapen her. And the movie's good. I like it because it's in 1995 and they have a ton of callbacks, and I like that. I
Yeah.
like everything that has to do with that. Like she's in a blockbuster, and it's amazing.
she crashes through the roof of a blockbuster.
It's great. Like the whole thing. I love that whole thing.
I miss Blockbuster.
Yeah, makes me miss everything about the 90s.
So much better.
The Crawl are great too. They're amazing.
Skrull. Yeah, the
the
Skrulls
Skrull.
are
Sorry,
great.
the Skrull are great. They're a great comedic element as well.
Okay.
Surprisingly, but they're hilarious
Is
every
this when they're
time.
going to bring Deadpool back in or into the Marvel Universe because he fights the Skrull?
Who knows? Probably.
I don't know how they're going to do that. I don't even know where to begin with that.
Wouldn't that be
my-
great? if
That's
Phase 4
a
is
whole
Deadpool?
like 2-hour podcast within itself.
Yeah.
I was
What
gonna
can they do with
I was
Deadpool?
going to say the real quick thing, because it's related to Endgame, that I've seen theory on how to bring in Deadpool is like at the beginning of Deadpool 3, him running out onto the great battlefield wherever Endgame takes place, and everybody already being gone, and he's just like, come on, that merger took forever! I missed everything! And I'm like, I want that
Yep.
except nothing
Yep.
else.
That would be awesome.
Yep.
I will say, I think you got to see it, right?
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, just to understand a little bit about an Endgame.
To know what she's capable of.
Yeah,
She is absurdly powerful.
She's incredible.
She's like the Marvel
powerful.
Superman.
But,
But
see, I
to be fair,
disagree.
in the
I
comics
think that's
she
enough
is,
right
too.
there. She's insanely powerful. Saved you the movie.
She's
You won't know the relationship she has with Fury, though.
That's important.
She and Fury are buddies. There you go.
You really don't like this movie, do you?
Nope.
It's fine.
I did
It's
not have
fine.
high expectations,
So-
and it met them. I think it's a good movie. It's not fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Its post-credit scene is great, though.
Yes. Yeah, the whole
It's
thing with the
great.
pager just stops, and then they're like, what is it going to do? And she's there. She's there. It's great.
And Black Widow's like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Where's Fury?"
Yep.
And then it cuts.
So they could have had like a 5-minute thing instead of a whole movie. I guess you really could boil down a lot of the Marvel movies to that, though. I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair,
It's unfair to do
they're
it to
setting
one.
her up as one of the cornerstones of the new Avengers, so that's
also-
why, you know.
Yeah.
Blows up the, universe itself.
Yeah.
She's been away for 20 years,
something years,
doing
yeah.
whatever.
Right.
And obviously, it was all more important than helping Earth. So,
So she knows
So what else
a
is
ton of
going
things.
on?
She
yeah,
knows
so
a
it's
ton of
like,
things.
what has she faced in that time frame
Right.
that can be made into movies now?
Yeah.
So it's like,
Galacticus.
that's an
I think
Avengers.
he's
Oh,
the
that's
next-
going to be an
he's-
Avenger
he-
thing.
He's the next big bad.
It has to be,
Yeah.
right? After we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but going on, moving forward, I think that has to be part of it.
Okay, we need
crap.
to get to
What
it.
if-
Because
Um,
she's so powerful, what else could really rival her?
Right.
What if she
Her and
brings
Thor,
it
like
up
at this point,
Exactly.
what do you do?
into Endgame? Like, what if Endgame finishes and everything, and Captain Marvel's the one to be like, he wasn't that bad. Like, I've seen bigger bads out there
So,
making their way here.
I could see them doing that. I would disagree with it though, because you spent all this freaking time
It
on
would-
all these bad guys.
It would cheapen Endgame.
Yes.
It would cheapen Infinity War if they did it that
I
way.
feel like they would
Yeah.
make so many legitimate fans of the movies mad.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not just the comics, but like just people that enjoy the movies as well. They would not be happy with that because they'd be like, "Then what did we watch all these,
Right.
23 movies for? Come on."
Yeah.
I do feel it's very odd that all of a sudden they are throwing a brand new character in one movie before Endgame. If you think about it, after all these movies, you built up all these other characters. People have really gotten attached to them, and then at the very end, you're throwing in this savior to come in and just magically save them all.
Yeah.
Without really building it up like you have the other characters. Granted, you have the origin story of her, and that's fine, but it just feels out of place for what they've done so far.
She's
It
the
feels like-
newcomer.
yeah, and it feels like a move that DC would maybe make with one of their movies. Like they kind of did with Justice League with throwing Wonder Woman in there at the last minute. But not Marvel, where everything's been so calculated. It feels like a calculated risk.
Unless you
instead
also
of-
think as Avengers Endgame as her sequel.
You could see that, yeah. But it's hard to hinge the whole movie on just her when it should be about Thanos and the rest of the Avengers and how to beat him.
But we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if she's
For
going to
sure.
play a huge,
And-
huge role.
They've already confirmed that she does, though. Like in
Other than
movies
she
and stuff.
rescues Tony Stark, which is
Right.
my first. That's obvious to me. I think.
I
at
actually
this
didn't
point.
think of that, so that's.
I think that's
That
the
makes
first
sense.
thing that's
Yeah,
going to
it
happen.
does.
One of the first things that's going to happen.
It
Because
does,
how
yeah.
does he
She
get
brings
back to
him
Earth?
back.
I
She
wanted it
saves
to be.
him.
Well, granted,
Pep-
he leads up to the
everyone wants
trailer
it to
that,
be
like,
Pepper.
oh, he won a Warmer Surprise, couldn't do it, but I really wanted that one more, like, Tony
Be
Stark.
Pepper, yeah.
I got through this because I'm smart thing, like, and just
Yeah.
going back to his days of, like, engineering and creating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tinkering in that.
It does
Yeah.
lead to maybe I should retire, though.
Yeah.
Because this is finally something he can't get back from.
Right.
And he does need help. So it would make sense where it starts to lead that doubt in his mind that maybe I can't do this forever.
Little thing in Infinity War. Do you notice whenever it says Tony Stark is missing, where it goes, "Wow, your best Earth's best defender is missing." So they're just admitting that Iron Man is Earth's #1 protector at this point.
Yeah. Well,
It's kind of crazy when you think about
Captain
it. when it
America
actually
is
says-
also Earth's defender. It doesn't want to talk about.
Right.
Well,
So there's that.
With him being
The second
fugitive.
best defender, and then the third best defender hasn't been seen since Age of Ultron.
Yep.
Hulk,
Thor.
Thor.
Yeah,
Thor.
because he
Hulk
disappeared.
too. I mean, two
Yeah.
of the 4 Avengers haven't been around
the
for
two
a very long
strongest
time.
Avengers haven't been around.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Do we want to do
Anything
Endgame?
else?
The
Oh, yeah,
first-
Predictions for Endgame? And
The
then
first
Yeah.
time they see Thor in like forever is whenever he shows up on the battlefield. That's interesting.
And he lights everything up, which
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah.
This is my friend, the tree.
Well, to be fair, do they really...
That was
I was
great.
gonna say, to be
Tree.
fair though, do they really have
Rabbit.
a form of contact to him?
I don't think so.
That's
No, it was always the Bifrost, right?
It was
well, and that was even destroyed.
it was Jane Foster. That was as close to communication with him as they had,
right.
because she was experimenting with like interdimensional all that stuff,
Yeah,
travel.
I feel like it's kind of far fetched to think that Thor would just kind of come across this
Heimdall.
and be like, "I'll be down to help."
Because he could see what was going on Earth.
Yep.
Yes.
Heimdall was his connection to Earth.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah, if he would have never ended up with the Guardians, I don't think Thor would have ever made his way there. Really.
No.
No.
It
Probably
also
not.
explains what Thor was doing for 2 years. He was searching for the other Infinity Stones between Age of Ultron and Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing for all that time. Because he wasn't on Asgard.
And he did find them because they were with the Collector, and he knew that
Yes.
whenever he was talking to the Guardians. Because I believe he said something along the lines of like the Collector's an old friend of like
Yeah.
the royal family, and
There's
if they're with him, they're safe.
Also, a reason
Wrong.
why Thanos picked that
They were
time to
not.
Fake
come
news.
is all the ancient protectors
Yes.
of that dimension were
That's
gone.
the theory. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the ancient one was gone. Odin was dead.
And
What was the other
Quill's father, one of the other
he
Titans.
was one of the other Titans. They
Yeah.
were gone.
The three
Yeah.
Titans
The three
that had
Titans
a
are
connection
gone.
to Earth were dead. And that's why it happens right after Ragnarok, because Odin had died
Odin was the last Titan.
hours earlier.
And in the comics, Odin kicks Thanos' ass quite a bit whenever they fight.
And that makes sense.
Like, he's technically more powerful than Thanos. Odin, like, honestly, when you look at it, Odin's literally one of the most powerful. Like, he's over OP. He's like God tier.
He is.
He is literally the god tier. Like, he is. But that's the thing, because the movies never do him justice. Just how powerful Odin is.
What power level would he be if he was in Dragon Ball?
Yeah, I don't know.
Going back to our conversation with
At least 2.
At least.
Yeah?
At least 2.
Okay.
I'd say over 9,000, but I don't think that means anything to that fandom
No, it
anymore.
doesn't.
More.
Not anymore.
Not when they reach
It's
the
just a
billions.
meme.
Right.
I don't think we'll ever see it in the films, unfortunately, but in the comics and in, like, lore, he is the most not the most, but one of the most powerful entities in the entire universe is Odin.
I think they have to be careful with that, though, because
They don't want to. That's
such
Superman
a large
complex.
audience,
Same thing. Yeah.
I don't think you can keep telling them this is the most powerful. No, this is the most powerful, because
It's
they're
tough to
going to get
balance
tired.
that.
Exactly. They're going to get tired of it.
Which at
Well, the
least
thing
they're
is,
not
he even
doing
fights
that too
Galactus
much.
in the comics. Odin fights
But I think
Galactus, and Galactus
That's why they
fears
don't
Odin.
bring up Odin being
So it's like-
the most
That's why you can't
powerful
have
in
him
the
alive.
universe.
Exactly. That's why you can't have him.
Because no one would be a threat.
But I liked
alive.
that, though, how Thanos carefully planned
Yeah.
when he waited long enough when Odin was gone and the Ancient One was gone and Ego was gone.
It's like the White Walkers in Game of Thrones. Just waiting.
Yep.
Just waiting.
Until the right time.
Yep. I'm just gonna wait.
until the Earth's weak enough to attack.
Yeah.
Which,
And take
honestly,
the stones back.
the Avengers aren't really weak,
No, but
But
they're
he
not
didn't
as
see
strong
them
as
as
the other ones
he didn't
were.
see them as a threat compared to Odin. And,
Which he did know who Tony Stark was.
yeah, he knew. Which
Yeah.
is that really explained?
Not
How
Not
he knows
really.
him?
See, the thing that I've seen is it's because they've both been affected by Scarlet Witch's magic, which comes directly from the Mind Stone. So Scarlet Witch gives Tony the Age of Ultron vision, where he sees everyone dead around him.
Yeah.
And that fuels his character since Age of Ultron. That's why he wants to protect everyone, is because he just doesn't want everyone around him to die. And apparently that's the connection he has with Thanos,
Okay.
is Thanos has seen, I guess, the future as well, his future, through use of the Mind Stone. Something like that.
So he already knew that he was going to kill everybody, or half the people.
Probably.
Technically.
He probably knew he was going to
Yeah.
win. Definitely.
It's just a matter of how.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's why originally he was going to kill Tony in the snap. But because of Doctor Strange's, like,
Bargain.
because of Doctor Strange bargaining for Tony's life and giving him the Time Stone instead, that's the reason why they win, is because Tony's still alive.
I feel I was going to say, I feel like that's going to be Thanos' downfall, is not killing him in the snap.
Yep.
Yes.
Really is.
But it was almost a subconscious thing because, like, it is supposed to be unbiased, the snap, but he was, imposing on it, like, his subconscious thoughts, too.
Okay.
So I think that's how Doctor Strange did it, was like, if I give you this, just save him. And then I think that's why Tony survived the snap instead.
Okay.
But
He
apparently,
chose not to kill him.
yeah, apparently Thanos also put his name in the running to do a 50-50, like, split as well. So there was a chance that Thanos would have died as well in the snap. He was trying to be completely equal and unbiased.
That's very noble of him.
Apparently
How
that's
nice
the thing.
of him.
Killing half the beings.
So, Endgame predictions. This is where we all.
Well,
this is what we've been
I
leading
think
up
there's
to.
one that's really obvious, and that's Captain America does not survive, one way or another.
I don't think he does.
It's just a matter of how.
I think
Right.
the really other obvious one is Tony Stark's not going to make it.
That's also a matter
Boy,
of how.
I really hope he does, but
I do
think
too,
there's a
but I don't think so.
91% chance that he is going to die in that movie.
Yeah.
It's just
I
because
don't
there's some
want it,
shred of me that doesn't
but I
want
think-
him to
Yeah.
die.
to set up the
And I don't know if there's really one that
new
I
generation.
think
they
he will.
have to.
Yep.
They have to take out the old one somehow.
I do
Just don't
find
pull
it
Star
very
Wars.
interesting that shot in the trailer shows
Sorry.
the three Avengers, the original three Avengers: Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor.
Yep.
So does that mean those 3 die and the rest live?
I don't see Thor
Or-
dying because
No,
he's so
I don't.
powerful.
Just
He
well,
almost killed
Thor's
him in
likable now, though.
Yes,
Right.
everyone's
They
been
have to keep him
refreshed.
alive.
Thor's
Yeah.
refreshed.
I see
and
one
think-
more independent movie out of him.
Yeah,
Yep.
they
Where
can
he
send him
learns
off
to be
on
king.
one more movie.
Yeah.
His story's not over. That's kind of
yet.
the other thing. Whereas we're
The other
hitting
two,
the
it's-
end of Tony.
Tony's
We're
is
hitting
over.
the end of
That
Steve
can they
Rogers.
really afford to pay Robert Downey Jr. Like again?
can't.
I think
Disney
they
owns
would've
everything.
Oh my
managed
god!
to.
Did you see what he's making from these 2 Avenger
Yeah, but
movies?
you see how much they're
Oh
making
my
on the
god!
movie?
He's
That's-
like
they're making, like,
making
1.5
what
to
is
$2
it?
billion
He's
on the
making
movie.
Yeah.
like
So-
$200 million off of. He's making $100 million each, I think, on each
Yeah.
Avenger movie. He's making $100 million.
I mean, it's a lot.
That's
but
like the highest ever, just paid to one actor. for,
Dude,
like,
he was the highest paid movie actor back whenever, like, what was
Age
it?
of
Like,
Ultron came out. He was
yeah.
the highest paid.
yeah. 4 years ago.
He's always been the highest paid out of the MCU.
Right.
as
Yeah.
I- as
He
far
started
as I
it.
know.
He's the father of the MCU. They've talked about it in every interview since Infinity
Didn't
War.
they give Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, like $5 million or something like that to do Captain Marvel, which is way more money than
Man,
a lot
it's
of the
probably
other
good
ones
for
made
equality
there.
as
Yeah.
well.
in their
In their
first
initial movie.
You know what I mean?
That
Yeah.
everything's
Way
gone
less
up
than
though.
theirs.
So
Oh, I agree.
to be
I agree.
fair, it's
When you know the movie's going to hit $1 billion,
That's true.
you can afford to pay your actors a bit
Oh,
more.
I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I was just surprised when I saw that number. I was like, "Whoa,
Did it
that's
hit $1 billion?
lot.
It did.
Yes.
Captain Marvel.
After
Yeah.
overseas and
Okay,
everything,
just
yeah.
passed it.
It did break records for biggest grossing weekend. So there was that.
That helped.
Yeah.
So I think this ends Iron Man's arc and it ends Cap's arc. Both of their stories end in this movie, I think.
I agree.
Yes. I'll say it even ends the Hulk arc. That's
I think
going on right
Hulk's
now.
arc is
I
over
think he's going to
too.
be done as well.
Yep.
So
I don't think he'll die though.
No, I think
Just
he's
because
No.
I think you
done.
still need Bruce Banner around.
Yes.
He's going to be Bruce Banner as a scientist, not the
Yes.
Yeah.
Hulk.
I think he'll bring the old Avenger wisdom to whatever new team is there.
Yeah, 'cause you need
while
somebody
also not
to-
being in the fight
So you
because
think
he
he's
just
going to
doesn't
kind of
want
like a
to.
Nick Fury where he guides them a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Or Tony's gonna survive and go, look guys, I'm retired. You guys are in charge of protecting the Earth now.
But then there's always that one thing that can bring him back.
Yeah, that's
And they
that's
can't have that.
That doesn't seem in any way Tony's character at all to be like, all right, I'm retiring, I'm done. He would never, if he was alive, would never really leave, no matter what he said.
'Cause
he
technically-
would always be in the background doing something.
Yeah.
And I
You
don't
could do
know,
their tech.
Yeah.
but then they set up Wakanda for it.
Yeah, Wakanda's
Well, you could use their
pretty much-
resources, but I mean,
Wakanda's pretty much set up to be a new
That's
Avengers,
what I think it is.
basically.
I don't think there's a place for Tony after this.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And
that's all.
his suit is too powerful as well.
Yeah,
It
it's
is-
tough to keep him.
It's the bleeding edge suit. It is
Yeah.
the most technologically advanced his suit ever became in the comics.
Comics.
Yeah,
So there's nowhere to take his abilities either.
so you have to take him out, right?
Yeah.
No, that's
From a
it.
story
Yeah.
perspective.
And what I
Yeah.
love is the unsaid thing between us here is like he's going to die, but
Yeah.
all of us are like, there's a chance he's not because we don't want him to.
Right.
We know he's going.
Like there's a chance, right?
I do love
There
that.
is.
We start off, we're like, Captain America's not going to make it. Yeah, you're right. Iron Man. Like, oh,
man.
so sad. Sorry, Cap.
So-
We'll miss you, but
No, but we knew he's going
Right.
to die. We've known for years he's going to sacrifice himself in some big way. Because honestly, how many times has Captain America died in the comic books?
Yeah.
He's died a decent bit in the comic books. So
And-
it's like he will die sacrificing himself to create the new Avengers.
this is probably a silly thing, but I imagine had to have come up in their talks is how many of like the casual audience can follow having a Captain America and a Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's going to be confusing too.
That's why you take out Captain America, have Bucky take over, and name
Yeah.
him something else.
Which they have led to what? Yeah, White Wolf, White
Yeah.
Fang,
Yeah.
White
Yep,
Wolf,
White Wolf.
White Wolf.
Yep, they already call him the White Wolf in
Yep.
Infinity War. so
I'm
they're gonna
for
go with
that. I want to see
Yeah.
Bucky
Bucky's
in
cool.
his own movie
Yeah, he
at
is.
this
He's a
point.
good
Like,
actor, and I
Bucky's
like his
cool. I
character.
want
He
to see
deserves
him.
a redemption at this point.
Yeah.
But I do think because I think we noticed in Captain Marvel, she was never called Captain Marvel.
No, she was never called. She's never called Captain Marvel the entire movie, ever.
So
I had the biggest beef with that. That no one brought this up once, but let's call a movie that. Like,
How do you overlook
Other than
that, though?
other than the paper at the end of the movie.
yeah, she was Captain. So whatever her name was, Captain.
yeah, but
So
really liked the movie, huh?
That's so important. You
Captain
remember.
Dan-
No,
Danvers.
let's remember.
Danvers.
Nope.
Denver's.
No, hold on.
Carol.
No, let me point out something to you. You really liked the movie, but they never
Carol.
call her Captain Marvel, but you couldn't remember her name there
Carol
either. She
Danvers.
was super likable, wasn't she?
Oh my goodness, I just have issues with names sometimes. Captain Carol Avenger Danvers.
That's where he gets the name for the Avengers. Is
the
from.
Avenger Initiative is based off of her original code name.
Don't like that. You're retconning your own stuff. It just feels like they're taking a character and twisting everything to fit it in. I mean, it just doesn't feel natural, I guess. It's very odd.
We talked about this actually because you brought up after the movie that
Technically,
he technically
she would be the first Avenger.
Yes.
So that's retconning Captain America's movie.
Yes.
but I disagreed and I said I think just because of the whole timeline thing, because at the time that Steve Rogers became the super soldier, there was no
It was
Avenger Initiative.
1946.
So he is grandfathered into it, like
Yes.
He
backward.
literally is the first Avenger that was created.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
So
that.
they're.
But the
just-
Avenger Initiative was created
Right.
because of Carol Avenger Danvers.
Yes.
Danvers. I can't remember.
Denver's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, I don't know.
Black Panther survives. We know that. There's Black,
Black Panther
too.
will survive.
Yes.
Obviously, Spider-Man survives.
Doctor Strange
somehow.
is getting a second movie as well.
Thank God. I
Yeah.
love
She
Doctor
will
Strange.
be the leader of the new Avengers.
Yes,
I
that's
think
why
so.
I think she
Yeah.
adopts the captain name.
She will be.
So
the
I
new
think
leader
in
of the new
either
Avengers.
Endgame or whatever the next Avengers is, she'll be Captain Marvel.
and then Spider-Man will be in the group.
Yeah.
Because Spider-Man can't lead the Avengers. He's just
No, he's a
No,
he's not a leader.
he's a
follower.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a baby Avenger.
He's a
And
baby.
Thor's
Avenger.
gonna be like, I'm a part-time Avenger, and then
I
he's
could see
like,
that.
Thor's got bigger things to do now. He
No,
has to
he's like-
resurrect a people.
But no, I think
he's the king, man.
I know you. I don't know if you kind of meant that as a joke. I think that's it. I think Thor has too many bigger things going on
Yeah.
than doing this. He's gonna become almost like the legend
Yeah.
that's still alive and around from the previous Avengers, but he
Drops in every once in a while on the
Maybe.
new
Luke
recruits.
Skywalker of
yes,
the group.
no,
Yeah.
that's it.
Just doesn't die.
There's a legend in every generation.
So he's the
No
one
one
that will
ever
retire.
really leaves.
Nobody ever really.
No one's
No one's ever really
gone.
gone.
So
It's a picture of like
Thor is
Robert
the
Downey Jr.
retiring
and says
one.
nobody
I
ever
think-
really retires. It's like,
I think he's gonna retire, not obviously from being a god, but just retire from this earthly Avenger stuff.
Yeah, from the
Yeah,
Avengers.
it's not his problem anymore. He
It's
has a people
not.
to look
Yeah.
after.
or
He's a
it's
king.
like the only
Yep.
way he'd become an Avenger again is if the Earth was seriously in fucking
Like-
shit.
Yes.
Like, big
In which
time,
case,
like,
so
he
many
would have-
years down the line, 4 more years down the line, the Avengers 5 might be his final movie.
They can bring him back in for one more.
Yes,
Yeah.
he might get one more individual movie in which he's dealing with just being a king,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
But I'm having a hard time picturing what his motive would be. He ended up on Earth because that's where Thanos was. Not because there was some other war going on or anything. It was just because that just happened to be where Thanos was after he got Stormbreaker.
So, like, what his motivation in another movie would be?
Yes.
I
A
think
threat
if
to
it,
his own people.
yes,
That's it. That's
a
it.
threat to
Galacticus.
Asgard.
Yeah.
Either a threat to Asgard or he has that emotional conflict now that he needs to deal with and he's not. And he's trying to deal with it, but it leaks through in Infinity War whenever he's talking about the fact that, whenever he's talking to Rocket and being like, well, my brother's dead for good now. My father just died a couple days ago, and I killed my sister too. So, all of that emotional baggage is great motivation. So, and he's laughing through the tears and all that, and it's like, he's got to deal with that too.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's not enough.
Well, that
But it's
he's
not.
like,
How
he
do I
goes,
put it?
well,
It's
what
not an
if-
Earth problem.
Yeah.
Like that's something he can deal with somewhere else.
It's
Yeah.
a Thor problem.
Yes, it's a Thor problem.
He goes, well, what weapon you gonna get? He goes, well, the Thanos killing kind, and he's like, that better be some hammer. And
Yeah.
it's like it's for the first time where we're like, okay, wow, we're not sure if Thor can do anything. Like,
Right.
what's he gonna do? Like, he's the most powerful Avenger, and if he can't do anything, how's anybody else gonna
Right.
stop
Let's
Thanos?
hope he aims for the head this time.
Oh, I think I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. They're not going to be together the whole movie.
No.
They're going to be separate, and I think there's going to be 3 things going on at the same time. There's going to be 3 missions. They're all going to end at the same place, though.
Yeah.
They will be together at the end.
Apparently, it's been confirmed by a cast member that every single character that can be called an Avenger is on screen at one time at some point.
Okay.
So, all of them in a group standing on screen.
Wow.
So like it'll be like
We may have already
the-
seen it.
So like the final showdown almost.
Yeah, it'll be like the initial Avengers shot where it's all of them in
Oh,
the
that'd be
circle,
great.
but it's everyone.
Oh my god!
Everyone
what
that
if
can
they
be
redo
called
that
an Avenger.
shot?
Yeah.
But
That
even
shot.
better.
The one from the first
Yeah.
movie where they're
Yep.
all like,
Yep.
it
Yeah.
pans around and you see them now.
Yeah, that was
At
good.
the
Yeah.
end, is
The-
compared to the beginning.
The only thing I'll say though is right now they're just fighting Thanos. Thanos doesn't have an army behind him this time. What does he do? You know, like I feel like he's almost not a threat anymore. So I'm wondering how he becomes the threat again.
Go back in time
Maybe.
where he has back to when he has his army.
Do you think they're gonna pull something where like Thanos is actually taken care of fairly easily? The real issue is reversing what happened.
Yeah,
I
think
don't-
it's gonna be
I
part
don't
of
know.
it. That's why I
Yeah.
said go back in time.
I'm
Yeah.
scared of what the actual conflict would be then. Like what the battle would be. I don't know.
Because that battle's got to be epic.
yeah.
It's got to be the best thing we've ever seen. Like
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like this scale is set so high now that it has to be good.
Yeah.
Like to the point.
I mean, he still has the stones at the end.
He has a staff. Did you guys see that?
What?
He has this weird staff,
Yes.
and it's like a double-bladed staff.
And he's in his armor again.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's almost like a
yeah.
heyday Thanos.
yeah.
Like maybe they go back in time to stop him before he even gets started
Like,
on his
that
That
journey.
would make sense.
But I mean, if he
This
has
lid
the
rolled
reality
back to
stone,
me.
he can
It's
just make
like-
an army.
He
The
could.
real effed up thing would be to make the army everybody they lost in the snap.
That would
You're welcome.
pretty
Don't do that to me.
You're welcome.
great. That would be great, though. That would be
That'd be so
hurtful,
good.
but
And then they fight against their will.
Yeah, it's reality stone. He can do whatever he wants.
He
like
really
mind
could.
controlled.
Yep,
that would be
because
great.
that would be a huge obstacle for the side we have now to face.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
though we have so many strong Avengers,
Yep.
so many new strong Avengers got snapped.
Yeah.
Like just even dealing with all the Guardians.
No, could
On
you
their
see
own.
Tony Stark trying to take out Spider-Man?
I don't think
like-
he would ever do it.
That's the problem, and I think that's
That's
something.
the conflict that
Yeah.
Tony would have to deal with in
Yep.
this movie. Jeez.
Beat up his adopted son
Yep.
that he
This
never
movie's
wanted.
going to be so crazy.
And that's the problem. It's like Infinity War. Does anyone really know what's going on?
Probably not.
No, not at all. We know that they all get new outfits and they walk down a hallway at some point.
I do know
They look pretty
one
awesome
thing
doing
for
it.
Yeah, they do.
sure is that
And they all
they
fist
got
bump.
nice little suits on, little white suits on now.
I am pretty sure Scott, Ant-Man, comes out of the quantum realm at the time of the trailer. So it's already been months, judging by Black Widow's hair growth.
I thought it was a year.
It might be. It's
I
been
thought
a
it was like a
long
year
time.
after.
Okay.
It's been
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
And that's why he's so confused.
Yeah, he just pops up on street, sees hundreds of missing posters everywhere, and then like a road is like an entire neighborhood's abandoned.
Yeah.
Because suddenly no one lives there anymore.
Right.
And he's just like walking around. He walks up to the Avengers thing. They talk about how he's like, you know, waving and just being like, "Hey guys, it's me, Ant-Man. You know, we fought a little while ago. Can you let me in?" That type of thing. And then they talk about how, when is this message? Was this recorded? Like, is this an
Yes.
old message?
Yep.
And it's like, what does that mean?
Yeah. Why would you even have that as a
That
line?
is, yeah, that's such a weird thing for them to say.
Time travel.
So I thought they
man.
saw him. I thought they confirmed that he died. Like,
They
he was
hadn't
part of-
seen him. That's
They
why
couldn't
they thought.
find him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had counted him as part of the snap.
Right.
Yep.
And they're like, how is he still
Hawkeye.
here?
Yep.
Hawkeye's going to play a big part in
Yeah,
this
he
movie, I
is.
think.
Yeah.
Which is nice because he was such a big deal in the first Avengers, and he kind of just trickled off.
Yeah.
Actually,
The
pretty
first-
hardcore.
He was a really big deal in Age of Ultron, too.
No, they- yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I
turned
forgot.
Scarlet Witch.
I
He was a central
forgot about
part
that.
in
I'm
Big
sorry.
But then he did trail off.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
it was just sort of like, ooh.
It was like Civil War, and then he kind of.
I think
was
the problem there
non-existent
was
for a
too
while.
many other big people that. What do you do with the bow and arrow guy? Like,
Yeah.
he's awesome. I'm not disagreeing, but what do you do?
You kill his family and
Yeah.
make him into Ronin.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what you do.
Well,
Done.
when you kill off half the cast, then yeah, you can bring back the little bow and arrow guy.
Yeah.
So quick.
Because you kind of need everybody now.
Yeah, you do.
Quick predictions, I guess. I would go for like say like one thing you can like you were saying like it's
I
gonna
was
happen.
gonna say, is
It's
that
like-
not what we've been doing?
Squirrel Girl makes an appearance.
That's fine. I'm
I
good with
think-
that. That's fine.
Absolutely.
I want her to
We did
appear in the
talk about
trees with all the squirrels.
mutation
Mutation,
arising
yeah.
because of this.
I
Yes.
think you will see the reason why the mutants will be there at some point
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
in this movie, because now they have control. They can put Fox assets in this movie.
This is a
if they wanted
perfect
to.
storm of reintroduction.
Yeah.
It is a soft reboot. It's phase 4. Like, everyone that comes back from the Soul Stone, make them a mutant, and then you're good.
The other thing is, for 150% that I saw from us starting to talk about Endgame, I think my number one and pretty much only prediction, because I don't know what else is going to happen, I think Captain America will die. It's just how you said how.
Yes.
How is
And
he going
why?
to die? How
Why
and
will
why?
he die?
Yep.
I think that's really the only thing that I can say. Okay, if I had to bet money on something, it would be that.
I would bet money on Cap and Tony.
Yeah.
I don't want to, but I would.
Don't make me say it. I can't do it. He'll be fine. He'll make it. And then he'll marry Aunt May, and then he'll be Peter's actual father.
Yeah, because forget Pepper Potts.
No, she's gonna die.
That's fine.
You're going to die, Pepper.
Oh no, said all 3 of Pepper Potts fans.
Yeah.
The 3 Pepper
All
Potts fans
3.
that are out there.
I say that. We named our second dog Pepper for
She's
Pepper
one of the
Potts.
fans.
But it was because we already had the Stark.
She's one of the fans. She's one of the 3 Pepper Potts fans.
She is herself.
I think we're just gonna be shocked all the way through.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single thing.
Who knows what's gonna happen towards the end, and only our Lord and Savior Kevin Feige actually knows what the end credit
Feige
scene
or
is going to
Feige?
be.
It's Feige.
Is it Feige?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Feige.
Okay. Well, Feige's gonna know
I used to
what
say
the end
Feige,
credit scene's gonna be.
so-
Who knows what's gonna be in it? Who knows what it's gonna do?
Well, I think like what you said about the mutants, that's where they're getting introduced to the mutants. It's in the end cut, like the end
Yeah.
credit scene. That would make sense. So you don't interfere with the actual movie, but you still have it in there at the very end
Yeah.
to lead into something new.
That, or I would
Yeah,
say
for sure.
it would be something that was really glossed over on purpose. It's still in the movie, but towards the end, just like news in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not
Replayed
focused.
over and
It's
refocused.
something you have to grab.
New mutants popping up all over the world or something
What
like
I
that,
think
like
would
a
be
news
really
report.
cool if they had like welcome back parties for people. So what if this like teenage kid is having a welcome back party because he was snapped, he's back now, and then what if there's just a glass of water in front of it and he goes to touch it and it just turns to ice?
Yep. That's
Like
nice
just
now.
something small like that where it's
Yeah.
like he was snapped, he came back, he's not the same.
Yeah.
That'd be neat.
And Iceman would make sense for that too, because he's like a teenager.
Yeah, and he's a bigger X-Man that I think he even leads the X-Men at some point in the comics. Like he's
Yeah.
pretty big.
It would be
he's a
even. I
bigger
think
one.
it would. I don't know how they would do it, but I think.
And I don't think
it
he's
would
in the
be-
Days of Future Past
Yeah,
universe,
He
is
is.
he? Is
He
Iceman
is.
in that?
Yes,
Okay,
he's-
I haven't seen
he's
the
in it
movies.
all over the place.
It's good.
multiple times.
Yeah.
It's actually a good movie.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
You
like no
watch it.
joke. It's legit.
Actually, you guys watch that. Like it's wherever you guys probably have it on some format. Or
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
we do.
But yeah,
You
watch
haven't
that.
seen it.
You can probably skip first class. I think.
Yeah, you
Just
don't
go
need
right
to
into
watch
Days of
that.
Future
Just
Past.
watch Days of Future
We have
Past.
like we got a collection for Christmas one year, and like it's the problem is that like we start watching it and then other stuff comes up
Yeah.
and then we're like we have to start over. I can't remember, and
Yeah.
it's just the fatigue of restarting all the time that you don't get too far.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that.
Definitely watch.
Although
Days of
watch the
Future
Rogue
Past,
cut
though.
of Days of Future Past. It's better. It's like 17 minutes longer and it has Rogue in it because they
Yeah,
completely cut her out of the
I
whole movie.
guess.
Okay.
It's
Honestly,
real
all it
stupid.
gives you is more old Magneto and old Professor X action,
It's okay though. Yeah.
Okay.
which is
If that's what you want, like it's
which
good.
I like that though
Yeah.
because I like Ian
If you're not
McKellen and
interested, you
Patrick
could
Stewart.
save
Yes.
17 minutes of your life and not watch it. I guess.
But yeah, watch that movie. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Watch all the Avenger movies before this happens.
Watch every Marvel
all
movie
of them.
ever. Do
All
it.
nighters.
Do it.
We
It's
did
like-
start.
There is a couple movie theaters that what they're doing is they're playing all of these movies back to back to back to back,
these
leading up to it.
people
it's
have
like a
the
48-hour nonstop
But what
event.
about bathroom breaks? How are you gonna hold your pee?
That's
What about sleeping?
Right.
No, you don't need that. You just need to be able to hold your pee.
They just start like pushing like a carton of cheeseburgers and drinks and
Yeah.
Right?
everything.
Someone
like,
has to make the
I
food.
Catered Five Guys.
cater
They're
Five
expecting
Guys
to get
24
through this
hours a
48-hour
day.
Now, see, leading up to Fantastic
yeah.
Beasts, and we're to find them the first time,
Yeah.
the first movie when it came out, I liked how the movie theater, at least near
Ned
us, did
Stark
it.
shows up.
They did all the Harry Potter movies, but there was so like the first week they did it in weeks. The first week was Sorcerer's Stone, and Chamber of Secrets, but each movie had like 2 or 3 times, and so you could feasibly get there like twice a week.
Yeah.
You had different time options, and just keep going up
It was
until.
reasonable.
Yes, this 48-hour nonstop bullshit doesn't work.
No.
That's a waste of money because you pay for all of the movies, and I'm like, I won't see
Just pay a
all of
flat
the
rate.
You're
movies.
not going to watch
Like-
all the movies.
Yeah.
You have to
Okay,
sleep
30
sometime.
bucks. Come on.
And people decide when to sleep. Like they have to choose a block of movies to sleep through.
Okay, when The Incredible Hulk's
Dark World.
on, you can sleep.
That's about when
That's
it
a good
is.
point.
Yeah.
World,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's
Dark
2
World
hours you can get some sleep.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more feasible.
Oh, so
to
I have
watch
a
them at home.
dumb Harry Potter thing I just figured out the other day
Uh-oh.
that I thought I knew for like a decade, but apparently was completely wrong on.
Tell us.
The curse on Dumbledore's hand.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I always thought it was the curse that Voldemort shot out of his hand at him at the Order of the Phoenix, where not Order of the Phoenix,
Yeah.
Ministry. I thought
Order of the Phoenix.
Yeah, it was
when
Order of the
I
Phoenix.
thought it was I was trying to figure out remember the location. I was at the
Ministry
Ministry
Magic.
Magic.
Yeah.
I always thought that as a kid, but then I'm like, wait a minute, no is the ring.
Yep.
I'm like, damn it! I thought for a decade it was that curse that came out. I'm like, wow. I'm like,
The
I
burden
can't
of the
believe
one
that.
true ring.
Wait, what?
Lord of the
No,
Rings?
yeah.
Wait, was the ring the?
It was how
It was a Horcrux.
Dumbledore
It was?
got
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
curse on his hand.
And it was-
I didn't know that.
It was.
I didn't either.
I was
That's
like, you're kidding me. I was
That was
like,
the start
and then
of-
I read like 3 or 4 articles just to back that up, and I'm like, wow,
And that was the start
I
of
can't
J.K.
believe
Rowling's
that.
destruction on Dumbledore, but that's, you know.
And it continued into Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them too.
Oh wait, so you didn't like the ring thing with Dumbledore?
Oh no, that's
Well, she made it a point whenever she was writing it
Yeah.
in the books that Dumbledore explained the whole reason he wore the ring is because he, like, fell to the temptation of it, Lord of the Rings again, but, like, and just that, like, it was a really nice piece of jewelry, and it was owned by Salazar Slytherin, and he was just sort of like, I'll wear it, not realizing it was a Horcrux.
You think he would have
What was the reason given in
Thank
the
you.
film?
Because he's Dumbledore.
So I don't-
Thank you.
Smart.
I don't think
He
there
should've
was
said,
a reason.
I'm keeping
There
it
wasn't?
safe, and because it's
I
on
don't think
me,
so.
I know where
It just
is.
showed his like black hand with the
But
ring on
no.
it.
Rachel,
I never
Let's
knew
write
that.
books together.
She's
Let's
like
write some good
the most
fantasy.
knowledgeable Harry Potter person I've
Oh yeah, no,
ever.
she knows way
that
more
I've
than I
ever
do.
met. Do they address it in the Half-Blood Prince? How does
the
he
movie?
get the curse?
It's from wearing it.
Yeah.
That's all he says?
Yep.
Really, that's it. He
Yep.
just goes, "Oh, I just got it from wearing." Like, because you'd
That's-
think, like, damn it.
It's like that really bad metal that.
I
turns
know.
green
It's
whenever
like
you have
I'm
it on.
frustrated that that's the
like
only
that fake
reason that they
silver.
give in the movie. It's like, come on, really? I was like,
It's-
could you elaborate? I know they technically elaborate on it in the Deathly Hallows flashback, where he
Well,
goes, "How long will this be contained in my hand?"
Because
Maybe a year.
the original thing, the whole reason it started doing that to his hand is because it's a Horcrux, so it was like kind of sucking the life force out of Dumbledore so that it could give Voldemort the ability to come back through that Horcrux. And it's.
Couldn't you just take it off?
I think.
Do you know how it's like when you first get like an infection,
it's
the
kinda
start
like
of
at
it
the
is
hour
real
mark anyway.
quick and like onset, and then it will still spread, but sometimes it's at a slower rate? It's kind of like that.
Why didn't you
And
just take the ring off?
He did, and the damage was done.
Oh,
Now, it kind of, like, slowed down the infection, and, like, Voldemort wasn't getting, like, the life force from it as he needed as much, but, like, it was just one of those, the damage is done.
It was the cheap way for them to kill off Dumbledore.
It
really
really
was.
Was...
Because he was so powerful. I bet when she was writing, she's like, okay, I've made him the most powerful wizard. Like, I've talked about him continuously through all the books as the most powerful wizard.
I have
Yeah.
to weaken him
And then
before
it's
I
like,
kill him.
exactly. It's like, I can't just kill him. There needs to be a reason why he needs to die.
Well, he did accept the death because it would have been done at what was it? It was the whole thing so that Draco
Draco Malfoy.
would
It's
disarm
a female
him.
Draco.
Draco
Draco?
would disarm him,
Draco.
thus owning the Elder
Twin
Wand.
sister.
Yep.
But then Snape would actually be the one to kill him.
Right.
Like it was all his plan.
It was
So
all
it's
his
not
plan.
like he was
And
defeated out of like besting.
The great thing is, it still got messed up.
Yeah, because then didn't Harry Potter like
'Cause-
disarm Draco?
Yes.
Yeah, which
Before
was-
all of
that
this,
was
and
that
it
whole thing
screwed
was
up
confusing.
everything. Right?
That confused the hell out of me.
Right?
I'm like, okay,
As-
so wait a minute. Who did the Elder Wand belong to?
Right.
I'm more
I thought it was
upset
Snape
that
for
these
the longest time.
Deathly Hollows. No, like I know someone's probably gonna argue like, oh, that the Cloak of Invisibility's been there since book 1, and we've always seen the Deathly Hollows. No. We didn't know them by name until the 7th book, and I think it's ridiculous because it's that I have a problem with last parts of any series, because it's always the weird one. Because it's this stuff, I've had it planned for the beginning, but I never brought it up till now. And now it doesn't fit with every other piece of lore that I've built in. And that is the Deathly Hallows for me. It is a mess.
It's like, you always say the Hunger Games.
The Hunger
my
Games,
God.
the last one
God.
is...
Oh no.
It's terrible.
It is bad.
It's
Everything
bad
leading up to it was great.
Yes.
Catching
Hunger Games
Fire
happened.
to me
Yep.
was the best one.
Yes. Hunger Game. I'm running an army now.
Yep. But it was supposed to be like, because whenever they're traversing through the Capitol to get up there, it's supposed to be like the other Hunger Games.
Holy crap, I forgot a lot of that movie.
Right? It's not very
It happened.
rememberable.
That's okay.
Wow.
But seriously,
bad.
though, like that whole end sequence confused the hell out of me. I was like, wait a minute, who does it belong to?
It was worse in the books, apparently.
I'm like,
Yeah.
That
is
doesn't
that how
sound good.
Snape dies in the books? By the
Is-
snake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it
Yeah.
does?
It's
Yeah.
a mess.
Yep, by the little Asian
the
lady
hell?
that couldn't change back.
Oh,
And,
God.
and we
And
don't.
she's in
don't.
Fantastic Beasts.
Just
She is.
please don't. Like, can we
It's
retcon
cool to
that
see her,
shit?
though. It's good
Let's
to see her.
retcon it.
She's
I feel
retconning
bad.
it as we speak.
I retcon it. It's like, you know, it's like I like.
The worst thing she's ever done is she wrote a cursed child. The cursed child.
Oh, God.
We don't have time. We don't.
Don't
All
have
I can
time.
do is that I'm pretty sure she just started reading fanfic upon fanfic upon fanfic and said, I'm going to take what I think are the best parts of all this and make my own fanfiction. And it's going to get published, and it is the worst. I can't even articulate how much this upsets me.
I have to do a podcast on just Harry Potter.
I spent
Yeah, that's
my
the next
22nd
one. That'll be the
birthday
next one.
reading the extended plot to my friends that had come over so I could bitch about it for my birthday.
Yep.
Because it was so important to me that you knew how terrible it was.
Oh, it was a great couple hours.
This is what happens when you write fanfic for your own universe.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
become the thing you hate.
You either
mean-
die a
to just-
hero or live
but-
long enough to see yourself become a villain.
Not to just keep hitting on that, but
Not everyone is really gone.
no.
But no, she throws in things
How,
that
though, man?
never, because she goes with things that like
I'm
never
so
would have happened with
confused
characters.
now.
Right.
Like in
Yeah.
the book,
Like,
Voldemort has a
Why
child.
does he pick up the fucking ring?
How?
Think
Apparently
with
he was
Lestrange,
already
Bellatrix
poisoned.
Lestrange.
He's the most powerful wizard
They
and all-knowing, and he
conceived
picks
whenever
up.
they were
I
at
didn't
the
know there's a
Malfoy
curse
Manor.
on this ring.
And so
Well,
his
guess I'll put it on.
child is actually
Okay,
the
yeah.
cursed child.
Wait,
And
what?
yeah, it's a mess.
Damn it all!
All right, Megan needs to read this book so she can tell me.
Yes.
about it.
Oh, it's-
If you are a
terrible.
wizard in the Harry Potter universe, why would you pick up a piece of jewelry from somewhere and not already assume it's cursed?
Exactly.
I would assume every fucking thing. A pot plant, that's cursed.
That's
Don't
cursed.
touch that.
Or it's a porky.
But it's
if
like,
it's not
yes.
cursed, it's a porky.
You're gonna
knew
touch
about
that, you're gonna go
though.
straight
he even
in somewhere.
sought it
You're going to
out,
hell.
though.
Yep.
You go to hell.
That's
Yeah,
my
he
issue.
sought
He
it
sought
out.
it out and already knew what was wrong with it.
No, he didn't know what was wrong
but
with it. He
knew
suspected.
He and still did it.
and still did it.
It's just
Yeah.
like this is probably evil, and then just puts it
I'm
on his
gonna
finger.
put it on.
Just can't take it off.
It's pretty.
I'm fucked.
Well, guess Hogwarts is fucked. I don't know. I
Just
mean,
calls up
there goes
Snape.
the wall.
We're gonna have to talk
It is-
about my last will and
He
testament.
doesn't tell anybody either, other than Snape.
Snape.
It is the
That's
legit
it.
meme.
Yep.
It is the
Snape
legit
is
meme.
his
He puts it on his
literally-
hand. Guess I'll die.
Guess I'll die.
There is also quite a bit of time travel in the Cursed Child to the point
Oh my
to the
God.
point Harry, Hermione, Ron, and all of their children, and Ginny I think is there too. But anyway, travel back in time to the
Ginny.
night
Hooker.
to the night
shit.
Harry's parents
Aberforth.
die.
I heard about this.
And Harry calls over Albus and says, "Come here, I want you to watch this with me." And they watch his parents be murdered by Voldemort. And it is the most effed up thing ever. Ever. Because who does that?
And
Why
then they
would
head home, and in the car ride on the way home, they're just like, "I'm glad you could share that with me."
Yes. Legit, he's like, "I'm glad you
Come here
can
and
be
watch your
here with me
grandparents get
for
murdered
this."
in front of my
And
eyes.
it's like,
Yes.
why?
What the fuck
It's
is wrong with this?
it's worth it. It really is.
Yeah, it's the downfall of J.K. Rowling. This is what
Oh,
this
my
is
head.
what made me no longer
I'm
respect
even
her.
more
Dude, we
confused.
could have a podcast just on Fantastic Beasts 2 and why it sucked.
Just on two.
am
One is a decent movie, and then they ruin it with the second movie because everything that happened in one they retconned it.
Don't let Megan hear you.
He doesn't even tell I'm still on this.
Yeah, the ring
Like,
thing.
I'm still on the goddamn ring, and she's like, the cursed child's getting terrible, which I agree. Like,
He puts the ring
some
on.
shit. But my problem is not even so much to that, is he doesn't tell anybody other than Snape. He doesn't trust anybody other than Snape.
Not Miss McGonagall or anything.
No, that's who you'd think it'd be, right?
Yeah.
Not even she knows.
Miss McGonagall's just staring at his left hand like,
No,
what's going on there?
She
Professor
literally
McGonagall.
becomes
Yeah.
like...
Sorry, Professor McGonagall. Sorry,
It
she
sounded
got
weird.
a degree.
She has no, like... She let the Dementors are running Hogwarts in the last movie, and she's like miserable there because she
Yeah.
can't do anything against all of that.
Yeah, she can't.
You know, and
on
it's
her own.
like, what do I do? Like, he didn't tell me what was going on. Then like Snape's dream sequence happens, and oh, this was planned all along.
Oh, not even.
Was it though?
I can explain the ring real quick.
Yeah.
As the great Beyonce says,
Yeah.
you gotta put a ring on it.
And he
He put a ring on it.
It was cursed.
He wanted it, so he put a ring on it.
Do you think he found it and was just
Probably.
listening to that song?
Okay,
Just like,
Yes.
I want
He was
the
just
final
grooving to
opinion
Beyonce
on
and
this,
just put it
and I
on.
swear I will never bring up the damn ring again. Was
no, it
that
will
just
come up.
was
It'll
that
come up.
just a cheap way to kill Dumbledore?
Wouldn't surprise me.
He planned his death though.
Why did he need to die though? This is my question.
It was to get the correct ownership of the Elder Wand to Whoever.
he needed
To Harry?
get.
To
Yes.
not Voldemort.
Right.
basically.
That was
Pretty
it.
much anybody but
So
him.
he didn't trust that he was gonna live longer than
He had
necessary.
this plan for a while, and in the book, as he's talking to Snape, even says that they're gonna have to take these plans and adjust them and move them up, and then that's when he does his hand unveil to Snape. He's like, because of this, and Snape just being like, dude, what? Why would you do that? And that's when Dumbledore's like, I was just tempted too much, and and I'm like, that's
Why
not
just doesn't make
Dumbledore.
sense,
It's not
though.
Dumbledore.
Why didn't in second year Harry just come up for one of his visits to Dumbledore's office and then Dumbledore was just stood there and just be like, you know what, Harry? Disarm me real quick. Like, that's it. Why not that? And then Harry suddenly owns the Elder Wand.
Yep.
Because he never wanted Harry to go through all of this, and that's
then who else was
that's why he put it off, and that was his mistake, and he apologized, and it doesn't help. It was J.K. Rowling's cop out. That's what it was. We should probably wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Oh yeah,
that was
because
a pretty good
it could
podcast.
never be like if the Elder One was truly Voldemort's. Like Harry would not have a prayer at defeating him. That was
Right.
Voldemort would
Yep.
be the most powerful wizard ever, and he would have won if
Right.
he had the Elder Wand.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And would have
You know what? If I brought up my
land the
next
whole
point,
world.
we'd be here another hour because then I'd be like, okay.
Save it for next
But
time.
I mean,
At the
the
beginning-
abridged
I gotta
version
work in half an hour.
At the
Yeah.
beginning, it is Dumbledore's though.
it's Dumbledore's.
Yeah.
Why
Draco
doesn't
comes
Dumbledore
in
just go and destroy Voldemort with it?
He's old.
because
But
the
he's old, he's
Horcruxes
not-
aren't destroyed yet. And at that point, he knew because of his hand and all this stuff going on that he would probably pass before all the Horcruxes were destroyed to be able to defeat him for good. So
Okay.
that's when he starts setting this up. But yeah, Dumbledore has the Elder Wand. Draco disarms him in Book 6, becomes the Elder Wand's true owner. And then whenever Harry ends up at the Malfoy Manor in the 7th book, or the 7th movie, part 1, if you're those people,
Yep.
and disarms him, and then he becomes the true owner of the Elder Wand, which is unknown to Voldemort, who thinks he's still...
Who thinks he needs to kill people to get ownership of the wand?
Yes.
You know what else?
No,
is-
no, because he doesn't kill Dumbledore. He just doesn't know that you had to do the whole disarming thing to become ownership. He just
So-
pretty much said, I picked this up, so this is mine.
So real quick, the Snape thing, because Snape's like, oh, the wand answers to you.
Wrap this up.
So he's lying the whole time, really.
Yeah.
To Dumbledore.
Absolutely.
Not Dumbledore. Voldemort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
Voldemort figures it out at one point, and he's like, oh, you bastard. And then just kills him.
Actually, more so kills him because he doesn't need him anymore. That's honestly why Snape dies. You would think it'd be something better. It's not. It's J.K. Rowling.
You know what's fucked? These sticks. Who's the wizard?
Who is
But then
the
as
wizard?
soon as someone else is like, flick, the stick is just like, yo, that guy's a lot
Yes!
cooler.
I'm noping out.
It
Bye.
should just go like, it should hear, like, this. The stick should be giving commentary. Come on, disarm me. I want to, like, you're so much cooler than this guy. This guy sucks. Like, come on. All right.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. That was our podcast on the Marvel movies and
90% Marvel. A
other
little bit of
10 is-
Harry
A
Potter.
little bit of Harry Potter at the end. Nothing
It was
wrong
going to
with that.
happen at some point. It
Who
might
knows,
as
maybe
well
we'll
have
come
been
back
Harry
for some more Harry
Potter
Potter.
and the goddamn ring.
But
It's
yeah,
like-
we'll come back and talk about Harry Potter and the goddamn ring sometime. That sounds
That's
like
what
a
it
great
should be, the
podcast
name
name.
of the episode.
I think
The
we're gonna do
Avengers
that.
and the goddamn ring. Like, that's what it should be.
yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there. Thanks, guys, for coming over. Really appreciate it. And we'll have to meet again soon to talk about Endgame after we see it, and also Harry Potter and the Goddamn Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, bye, guys. Have
All
a good
right,
night.
see ya.
See ya.
Bye.